Okay, we are live. So I guess we're just gonna chill for a bit until we start seeing some views. I mean, unless you want to just go ahead. You're like, nah, let's go back to this one.
Yeah, right now, you can go ahead and you can, introduce your show and all that. I'm trying to, cross stream to my channel if I can. Um,
Okay. Yeah, you too.
so you go ahead and you do your thing while I figure this out on my end.
You got it. All right. Well, I'm just gonna pull this up. I'll mute your mic for a second. Solo. Hey everybody, welcome to a live episode of Archie's Briefings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch, and today you guys, it is the election. You see, I got my hat on. I am a Trump girl. Get over it. It's been an interesting day. I can't even tell you. First, the day started, it was going kind of decent. And Pennsylvania, it's a bit weird. It's a lot going on. Oh, Tuppence is in the comment section. But today, you guys, we are going to be talking about the election. So, it's been a day. I tell you. Tuppence, you were there for the day. You saw what my day was going like. Oh my goodness. It was just a lot. It was a lot happening. I can't even tell you, people. It was just so much. But again, today we are talking about the election, what the different states, especially the swing states. It is Pennsylvania, that's the state that I'm in right now. So we're going to talk about the election. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that, shall we?
There is something that has been on my heart that I did want to discuss. Discipline is a huge part of being productive, being lucrative. I'm not for anything that goes against true productivity, true sovereignty of the individual. The choices that we make are what's going to be up for judgment.
Okay, you guys. So as I said, it is the election. It's a big night. Today is the night in which we take back the United States. It's not just me here. It is my twin sister. I'm going to bring her into this because, oh my goodness, we have so much that we want to discuss. So, Asia, you are here. But before I go
How
ahead and let you
do
get started,
everybody?
word. It's like word. But you guys want to support the show, you can go ahead and you can support the show by cash apping me at hashtag Arshel Branch. We are a little business here. Very excited. We are going to be bringing on an extra guest today. I'm very, very excited. His name is Prince Adam. He is actually our brother, Twinkster. He's our brother. He's the one who runs the Kingdom Cigar Lounge. That's where we are shooting from today. If you guys want to support the show, you can support by cash apping at hashtag Arshel Branch. We do have a couple of comments here. Tuppence, reporting for duty. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Tuppence.
Andrew. Good evening, US. Word indeed. It's a big day. It's a big night. Big night. Big night. Very, very excited. Okay, so you voted. I voted. We are twinning today with our hats. I'm a
Trump
Trump
girl,
girl.
get over it.
Get over it.
So I
So
am
what
paying
was
attention. I just got a lot going on my end. I'm trying to keep track of everything that's happening between the prediction markets and everything. So don't mind me, you guys. I'm paying attention.
I know, I hear you because I'm looking at some of the stuff that I got going on. And it's something. I was watching one of these YouTube channels because I don't really trust the mainstream media news, and so I've been just very nervous about it. Today was a very trying day for me. This morning I was
I'm
planning on
sure.
voting in the morning didn't happen. I ended up voting in the evening. I went live for literally a couple of seconds while I was on the line. While I was on the line.
I
Yeah.
know. I got that notification on my way home and I went to sign on to log on to the live and it said this video was private, but usually that only happens when the live has ended. But then when I went back to see on your YouTube channel if it was there, it wasn't there. It was like, what happened?
Yeah, it was a setting feature. I literally went live. I don't know what it is. When I go live from my cell phone, everything seems to be private. And then I have to go in
Mm.
after the fact and then change those features. I don't know why that's the case. It just seems to be happening that way. But when I go live from my desktop, everything seems to be working. It's public. Everything is public. Because I hope it's public. I'm gonna have to double check that from my phone. But it seems to me that every time I go live from my cell phone, everything just doesn't seem to be public. It's private. And I don't even realize it while I'm doing it. I was so pumped up. I had like nerves in my stomach. I saw the poll people. There was a woman there. She had a Trump Vance sign, and I had my headphones in. I was listening to my MAGA music. At the time when she was speaking to me, I was listening to Burden's F Biden 2. And I was literally at the part of the song where it said, what was it? Kamala Harris, you equally evil. That part. And I took my headphone out. The lady said to me, thank you. It's like, thank you. No, thank you for being here. Because, you know, after 2020, 2022, seeing people actually there, she said she was there since 6:30 in the morning, trying to get the support, showing the pamphlets of all of the Republicans that were running for office. And I was paying attention. Like, I had the opportunity of actually meeting the woman who was running for office. Well, she was not actually, no, I didn't meet her. She knocked on our door and she left her pamphlet in the door. And I was so sad that I didn't get a chance to actually meet her. But I went to her website, I looked at her information, and I loved everything about it. So, you know, most people just vote down the ticket. I voted accordingly to the information I went looking up, because I don't even care if you're a Republican anymore. I need to know what you're about. And so I voted accordingly to that. And it's Pennsylvania. I need to make sure I vote. I was getting so frustrated. I called you earlier. Oh my goodness. I don't think I'm going to be able to vote. And I was getting upset. And you saw me. You saw me. It's like, Arshelle, calm down. Calm down.
I did.
What was your day like?
Mine was, it was odd because being at work, you would think being in Texas that I would be surrounded by a bunch of Republican Trump voters. But like I was saying on one of your other lives, that I'm in a very blue county. And, you know, one of my coworkers told my other male coworker, he's like, you know, why don't you go vote? And he's like, did you vote yet? And he said, no, I can't. And he was like, oh, you know, well, they don't ask for IDs. And in my head, I'm like, what? They don't ask for IDs here? I'm like, this is Texas, this is Dallas. Then I had my own experience, but I'll get to that in just a moment. When I go to the restroom, and, you know, go to the restroom, I go to wash my hands. I see another woman who works in the building. We chit chat a lot every now and again. And she's like, today's the day. I'm like, I know, I'm looking forward to tomorrow though. No more campaign ads interrupting any more football, baseball, any more sport games. So I'm kind of excited for tomorrow. And, you know, I'm tired of that roach Trump. And I'm like, oh, black woman, older black woman, silver fox woman, beautiful woman, but very liberal. And I'm like, you know, well, you know, we'll find out tonight. And actually, I should have started off this way. This morning, I'm on my way to work. I stop at 7-Eleven to get a coffee. There's this older gentleman who works there. And, you know, I wear my natural hair, right? I look younger than I am. So of course he wants to flirt. And he's like, you know, are you voting today? Did you vote already? I'm like, no, I haven't voted. I'm voting after work. And he's like, you know, who do you think is going to do? I think it's going to Kamala Harris. Like, she's for the people. He has an accent. I'm not going to try and do it. And I'm like, no, I think Trump got this one. I think we're going to wake up tomorrow morning and Trump got this one. He's like, okay, here's the deal. If I win tomorrow, if Kamala Harris wins tomorrow, you got to give me your phone number. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. But if I were a betting woman, I would bet that tomorrow when I come in here, you would owe me my small cup of 7-Eleven coffee. I mean, it is only like $1 and change.
Did you say 7-Eleven coffee? I would have shot the stars. Dunkin' Donuts.
He works there. So he works there. So I'm like, we could use your employee discount, and then it'll be what's $1.79 will probably be like 78 cents.
We do have a couple of,
and that's if
here.
I were
Tuppence.
Silver foxes.
Silver fox is wild.
Well, what else do you call them when they're like, you know, older with silver grayish hair? They're silver foxes. But I am, you know, all day today I have been following, you know, looking for the best maps, and you know, there are a couple that you look at. And I've been using this new tool by PBD, and it was great for interactive stuff, but I didn't really agree with the percentage that they had, because again, even though they're utilizing AI, AI is feeding
Mhm.
into the polls, and the polls are saying this is a tight race.
Got
And
another
I'm like, I don't
comment.
buy that nonsense.
Indeed,
Trump
from
2024,
Samuel
all
Christian, Trump
word
24. Indeed, Samuel
facts.
24. That's it. Just
So
totally.
I'm
That's
not
exactly what it is. Samuel Trump 24.
right.
Indeed, for
Now,
sure.
I wasn't buying these close polls. I wasn't buying it at all. I was simply
Mm,
just the person who thought, nah, I'm not buying it. The polls don't make sense. You got to look at the statistics when it comes to polls,
yes.
right? When 16 to 1 Democrats, right? 16 Democrats to 1 Republican actually engage with the exit poll. So I'm already not buying this polling.
Right.
75 to 77% of Americans believe the country is going in the wrong direction under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and 65% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You're not convincing me that this election season, it's 50-50 tight, close race. That doesn't make sense. The math
Yeah.
ain't mathing. Like, it's just
It's not. The math's not mathing. I will say for sure. Because I do have, because the numbers
cool,
have
but I do
been
have an update when you're ready for
fast.
it.
Yes, by all means. You give me an update and then I'll go on from there. Go ahead.
So
Give me
Trump
the
is
update.
up to 101 electoral votes. Kamala Harris is at 71. He did go up a few. The last time I refreshed this, he was at like 97. So he's gone up a
Yes.
couple. Kamala
Mhm.
Harris clearly went up because she was down like 60 electoral votes. So she definitely took some
Yeah, I think
home.
she was,
It
you
looks like
told me
we
earlier it was 30
yeah,
something
I
to
just want to
90
get
something.
to a little. It was. Then there's for the U.S. Senate, it's 43 to 34, so we're up 9 there. And in the U.S. House, we're at 65 seats to 37. Again, this is coming from the Associated Press. But in order to really declare who the victors are, if we maintain the majority in the Senate, get it in the House and the presidency, you got to
Mhm.
look at the Associated Press, NBC, and Fox News. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at throughout this live to
Yeah,
let
I do
your
have a map
audience,
here.
yours
It's a
and mine,
YouTube
know.
channel specifically. I watched this YouTube channel in 20. I don't know if they were here in 2022, but I one of the things that I like to do during the election since 2022, really, because
Mm.
2020 I was watching only the mainstream media. 2022 I was
Yeah.
watching not just the mainstream, I was also watching YouTubers, because for some reason I just feel like if I have a more well-rounded view of what I'm seeing, not just from mainstream entertainment, but also from
Yeah.
the independent media as well, that I get a well-rounded view of things. So I do have, and the
Yeah.
numbers do match. I am going to share that screen here. But if there are any things you would like for me to show as well, just some of the links and I'll get that going. Just send it to the
Got you.
email.
So
But I am going to
you'll have to
show.
send that to me in the private chat so that way I know which email. The problem with, most of us who've been on Gmail for so long, you got
Yeah.
1,000 emails, right? So just let me know in
Got
the
you.
private chat which is the right
Okay, so
one.
this one link here, this shows that Kamala Harris is at 71, Trump is at 101. Obviously, we can see that believe that's Alaska. We're still waiting for Arizona to come in. Some of it has come in already for Trump. We are seeing a couple things, obviously New Jersey. This is one of the reasons why I was saying that when it comes to New Jersey, I don't care if I was in New Jersey and I say that I wouldn't have cared, I would have voted for my local, and I say that I wouldn't have voted for the presidency, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
have bothered me being as late as I was to vote if it was
Yeah.
New Jersey. Pennsylvania is such
I
an
do like
important,
watching.
sorry for the ad, you guys. But it is such an important state at the moment. It's a swing state. And all these commercials that we've been seeing, Pennsylvania is the path to the White House. This is why it was so important to vote for Pennsylvania. And it was very
so this
important.
is what
for us
I
to
will
vote for that.
say.
And these numbers are showing,
So this is what
Trump is winning so far. And that was the YouTube
right.
channel that's showing those numbers.
So
Very similar to what you've been
so
seeing on NBC.
This is what I'll say about Pennsylvania. Donald Trump does not need to win Pennsylvania to win the presidency. Kamala Harris
Really?
has to win Pennsylvania in order
So
to
you're
win the
saying,
presidency.
wait a minute,
It-
wait. So you're
he does.
saying,
He
I'm
could
saying,
win this even if
you're
he wasn't
saying,
going to. Go
actually,
ahead.
no, I'm gonna let you go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, if you don't mind, I would like to share my screen if you don't mind me sharing it. So, I'm just going to
Go ahead, do your thing. Show your screen. I want to see the screen.
up
Sure,
this.
numbers matter.
Awesome sauce. So I'm gonna pull up one of these interactive maps, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys can kind of get an idea. Right now, I want to let you guys know. You see how they have Virginia in the blue? That's hog actually a toss-up. Same thing with Maine. Maine was actually considered a very deep blue state, especially in 2020. Hogwash, it is officially a toss-up. And looking at the votes between early voting and what we've seen on election day, Maine is actually leaning toward Donald Trump. We'll see what happens as they continue to count those votes, but Maine is leaning toward Donald Trump. And same Virginia, leaning toward Donald Trump. And now Virginia and states that they said that it was definitely going to Kamala Harris. Hogwash. Total
Right.
is what's needed. 270. So let's leave Maine. Let's leave Maine as a toss-up, and let's leave Virginia up as a toss-up. We know he's leading in Georgia. Georgia's leaning toward that. Let's say Kamala Harris gets Pennsylvania, right? She gets Pennsylvania. That puts her at 229. He's at 35 if he wins Georgia. We know he's winning Arizona. We know he's winning that. And we know Ohio. He's at 245. Again, 270 is the number here. And with Virginia and Maine.
We do have some comments here. I do want to get into the comments
toss-ups,
for just a second.
One go
second.
either way. He's winning
North Carolina. I just want to get into some. So we have a comment from Tuppence. I agree with Asia. We have a comment from Celine. Hi, Celine. It's great to have you here. I'm so happy to have you on the lives. That's amazing.
Hi,
it's happy
Celine.
to have you here. But yeah. Okay, but I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue. We want to finish the conversation with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's say that it's looking like he could win all of these swing states. We know he's winning North Carolina. We know he's winning Georgia. That puts him at 261 and she's still at 229. Now let's assume she wins Michigan, right? That brings her up to 244. Let's say she also wins Wisconsin. That puts her up at 254. He wins Virginia. He's at 274. He wins. He wins Nevada. Those are the 6. Let me take Virginia out real quick. But he wins Maine. He wins. He does not need Pennsylvania. She does. Now, let's say he takes Pennsylvania off the board. I'm
looking at this number.
So the only reason why
35. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. Now, let's put Maine back. Let's make Maine back to being a blue. They're still counting the votes there. And let's say that she wins Virginia, because again, that voted blue in 2020. Again, he does not, if he takes Pennsylvania off the board, he would win. All he has to do is win Michigan, which is looking like he could win that. And it's also looking like he could win Wisconsin. We don't know fully because it's like we know it's still a toss-up. It's still leaning. It leans to the left. But again, there's other pathways for him to win. He has to win every swing state. I mean, not every swing state. There's other pathways, like I was saying. Like I said, Virginia is turning. He needs to. If he won't need Pennsylvania if Virginia goes red, as it's predicted. He won't need it. Right. He won't need it at all. He will win. She needs Pennsylvania though, because as you saw, as I showed, if he wins Pennsylvania, she got her ass kicked. If he wins Pennsylvania, we know he's getting Ohio. We know he's getting North Carolina and Georgia.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I do.
I'll stop sharing this particular screen. I got the other ones later.
Yeah, because there is a particular video that I did want to show, specifically talking about what the GOP, since Lara Trump took over the RNC. Obviously, we had those problems in 2020. We did the Stop the Steal, trying to do something about 2020, 2022. And Mitt Romney's niece was the one that was running that, and she didn't do a very good job. Had a lot of problems with that, of course. So I do want to play a clip speaking about what the boots in the ground have actually been doing, because they were talking about this in the news. And funnily enough, it's called Queen City News. I'm going to just play this so that way we can see what the conservative movement has been up to right now is playing an ad, and I don't really like playing ads during that, but I'll just get that going 1 second.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't really like, I mean, it's not a political ad. There was one, I think I was I was talking about Kamala Harris. I was watching an ad about Kamala Harris. Like, I'm watching The Broad. Why are you giving a political ad? I think it was an ad for Trump, and it was just kind of pissing me off. It's like, why are you giving me an ad when I'm watching The Broad? It doesn't make sense. Just pissed me off. But I am going to show this ad right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just so we have an understanding what was going on. Oh, 1 second. I need that.
Courtroom, that
I can't hear it. That doesn't do us any good if I can't hear it. Just a moment. Because if I can hear it, then this doesn't really help, can it? Okay, we're good. All right, there we go.
could be playing a role in the
Here
elections
we go.
after the ballots are cast. Reports show there's 196 election lawsuits across 40 states, and they allege a range of issues, including voter fraud and other irregularities. Chief legal analyst Khalif Rhodes joins me now to talk a little bit about this. And Khalif, is this a sort of like a flood the zone approach to election lawsuits as we head into tomorrow?
2020, I think that was what the case, right? After the election, there were, it seemed like 1 million lawsuits, and it was a spaghetti approach. We're throw something on the wall, hope that it sticks. This isn't, I don't think it's a flood the courts type of approach. I think it's a concerted effort. I think Whatley and his team, former NC chair, now part of the GOP chair, had a conscious decision to say, we need more attorneys on the ground. We need boots on the ground in every battleground state. When they initially took over, they went and removed a lot of their staff, their day-to-day staff, and hired a lot of attorneys in these places. They got poll workers in multiple locations, but they also have attorneys filing challenges to voter rolls, filing challenges to ensure that the rights that they believe are being violated or potentially could be violated during this election are not. And so I don't think it's a flood. I just think we're seeing a lot of lawsuits specifically towards this last 3 or 4 months of the election, because it was timing. It was part of their plan. On the one side,
Okay, that's pretty much it right there. That's all I really want people to see is that our side
so
has
is that-
been doing the work.
So that was Laura.
Trying
That was Laura Trump at the RNC as a co-chair, getting in the attorney ground game going, ready to sue if necessary.
Yeah, I was kind of really excited about that. That's one of the things that I wanted to see, especially because of the early voting. I think when we noticed about the 2020 election, what I think about 2020, and we could talk about it. They'll just put those ridiculous disclaimers saying, "Oh, January 6th, the COVID-19 nonsense."
Yeah, I mean, I went.
You and I have talked about this
I
many
thought
times.
by
2020, COVID
data-
was just a guise to get Biden into the office. He was the plausible
Yeah.
moderate that could win this election. And I think a lot of us, because we are in favor of the Constitution, we are not in favor of early voting because election day, not election month or months. And we don't want it to be through the mail. So we didn't do mail-in ballots. And then, of course, everything that we saw happening with the 2020 election. And Lara kind of shored up in a way that Mitt Romney's niece, establishment being the problem, didn't actually shore up the election. We saw with the early voting she did, like as you said earlier, just a second ago, actually, that Lara Trump gave a speech talking that we kicked butt in that early voting. I do want to keep my eyes on these numbers.
I hear
Trump
you. So I do have an update.
You do have an update? Okay, you can share your screen if you need to. I do have some numbers here. They're the same though.
Yeah, the Associated Press is saying that Trump is up to 120 electoral votes. Kamala Harris is up 99. Unfortunately, Maine, like I said, Maine is shifting, but he may get one of those districts to go for him in that regard, which is to be expected. Virginia is still looking in our favor. Pennsylvania is leaning, for whatever reason, they're showing that it's leading toward Kamala Harris right now. I do think that's a lot of the Democrats in Philly that are voting for her, and those are the votes that they're counting.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is definitely a place to look at because again, there was a lot of shenanigans in 2020 during that election, and so that's the one. And again, he doesn't need Pennsylvania to win, but if he it's like, let's look at Kamala Harris behavior, right? If you believe you're gonna win, and if you believe you're in trouble, you're gonna definitely campaign a whole lot in the state that you're suffering the most in. And Pennsylvania is sitting on 19 electoral votes. So she's failing there. The best thing for her to do was to pick Josh Shapiro as vice president but she didn't do that because he's a Jew and he would outshine her. And so she really needs it. But I'm like, if you were so confident you were winning it, you wouldn't be campaigning in 5 different parts of Pennsylvania today.
That was the fascinating thing about her not picking Josh Shapiro. I could have sworn she was going to pick him simply because she needed to show that she wasn't as leftist as we all believed her to be. Now, if you're a far leftist, you're more pro-Palestinian, than you are pro-Israel. If you're America first, then you're pro-America, not pro-Middle East. Not to say that I'm not against Israel. I'm not against Palestine. I'm not necessarily trying to rebuild Palestinians up any more than I'm trying to rebuild Israel. This is, if she wanted to show that she was for Israel, which is seeming to be a big thing because of the conflict that she and Joe Biden are responsible for, you should have picked the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro. Even he was waiting for the phone call. And she chose Tim Walz, who was clearly pro-Palestinian, which doesn't really help her at all. And I don't think that's going to help her with the numbers. Before we do have some extra comments here. Comment from Celine. Her whole campaign is Trump bad. Yep. Yeah. Comment from Celine again. Josh Shapiro would have been a lot better. I completely agree with that. I think she would have gotten a lot more support. Her numbers clearly would have been doing way better. You told me the numbers between Trump and Kamala in the Electoral College. It was 95 to 30 something with NBC and 90 something with 30 something with the Associated Press. Either way, 90 to her 30. Biden wasn't lying when he told President Obama, I was a lot stronger than she was, because clearly he was the moderate.
Yeah.
We have from Tuppence Shabbat Shalom.
That's funny. Yeah, here's the thing about Josh Shapiro, because he is a Democrat, but the thing about Josh, and this is why she messed up. Yeah, this is why she messed up. It's not just because he's a moderate, it's because he comes off like an alpha male. Like he comes off like masculine, like real masculine male. Even though you're a Democrat, he comes off that way. And it's like, this is what would have appealed to men. It would have appealed to men. And that's where she's hurting as far as the other 48% of the American population. Women carry 52%, men carry the other 48%. But why she failed so dramatically is that there's a lot of women out of that 52% who are voting for Trump. And so she could have chosen Josh Shapiro. He would have helped her get the Jew vote. He would have helped her get the male vote. And she totally just screwed the pooch on that one, pun intended, considering they're eating the dogs and eating the cats. But that's neither here nor there. Josh Shapiro really would have helped her campaign. And she just said, nope, I can't choose a man that's going to outshine me because I have to come off strong. And you know damn well that Josh Shapiro, he would have outshined her. She's not a political animal. Okay, she isn't. Josh
we
Shapiro.
Do have another comment from Celine. He probably believes in limits for child deletion, so that's a no-go. Probably because he's Jewish. I think that would have made.
But she would have won.
Prince Adam. Oh, let me introduce
Prince Adam.
This is Prince Adam, you guys. This is my older brother. He is the one who owns the Kingdom Cigar Lounge. He's the one that I'm working with here. And he did vote today. He loves our hat. We are going to ask him some questions.
Who we rooting for right now?
Well, it's not a question of rooting for. We want you to be honest
about. I'm trying to see what team we're on. This is what the.
Well, I think our hats. I think our hats are kind of clear about
so
who.
Let's go Trump then. Let's do it.
I don't even know. Being honest, Asia, I don't even know. No.
I told you.
I do want to keep an eye on these numbers.
There was a comic that said it best: voting for Democrats is like using a condom. I'll do it, but it don't feel good.
That's hysterical.
I just don't want something worse to happen.
I am keeping my eye on the electoral.
That was Michael Che, by the way.
Let's see what we got.
Too. If you don't mind, I would like to show another map that I like to.
Yeah, by all means, show your map. Show your maps. Show your maps.
Okay, so this one is from the polymarket.com. The reason why I like this one is because it is a prediction. Yes, it's a prediction market. The thing is, this is where people put their money where their mouth is. All right. And prediction.
Be a liar.
Okay, let's be clear. I'm not. They've only been wrong twice. They've only been wrong twice their inception in 1866. So prediction mark have Trump at as far as winning the national election, 72.1% to her 29.2. She's actually down 12.6 in the last hour. So I just have to say that, and you can clearly see the betting markets have him winning with and Pennsylvania. So far, it's leaning that way. We know he's winning Arizona, and we know he's winning Nevada, and they are showing Virginia, even on the Associated Press. Well, the betting markets are saying that Virginia is going to be taking it home. Associated Press, I think they have more votes to count, and then you'll see it shift toward Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
But
I
look
mean,
at
those
the
numbers
swing
already.
states.
When you
This
look at
is
the
where
swing
it's a big
states, right?
deal.
Like, look at those numbers. When you look at Arizona,
Yeah, look at these numbers. Arizona, he's up at 87%. Georgia, 85%. 70%. Wisconsin, 52%. This one's closing in a little bit because he was up by 10% in this one. And in Pennsylvania, he's got her beat by 20%.
by 20 points.
She's
So
not
can I
winning.
ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask
Yeah.
a
All right,
question.
She's
You can
not
ask
winning.
So, I mean, I'm more concerned with what's going to happen when this shit is over because I'm very much tired of the election. I can't wait to not see an ad. I
We
flipped
all
the
are.
coin when I went to the
Everybody's
booth.
excited
And I
about
didn't
that.
really like either one of them, but we'll just go with it. Let's say Trump wins, right?
Mhm.
We're all aware he's going to pardon himself. We're fine with that. That's what's happening.
Yes.
Okay. If he loses, do you realize that he called the president retarded, and she's probably locking him up immediately? Like that's happening. Like that makes we're understanding. I give him respect. I give Trump has balls.
It's
He
not
put
going
it
to
all
happen.
on the line.
I can
He
tell you now
literally
it won't happen.
He put all his chips in, and he said, "Fuck it. I might be going to jail, but I'm either going to be president or inmate number 7926841 because no hell knows no fury like a woman scorned, and we've never seen a woman president. And I promise you that her first
He's
order of business is going to be locking him up. Are we agreeing on that? Like he's either going to jail or
yeah.
he's not.
Except here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
He's not going to jail. And
Okay.
if they try to lock him up, they would have they would have instigated what we all know was going to happen. I mean,
You can remove the map,
this
Twinster. You can
like
remove the map.
them like oh sorry, sorry, give me 1 second. It's not happening. What's going to end up happening is a civil
It's
war
a-
is going to break out. That's imminent. If they try
Wait,
to arrest Donald
you
Trump
saying
and
Trump
convict him,
loses,
they
going
are
to
going to
civil war?
start civil
No,
war.
no. If they try to lock him up, let's
No,
say
if
he
they
loses.
try to lock him up
Right.
If he
and
loses,
let's say
war.
he loses
Right.
and let him go off into the into the sun.
Right off
Leave
into
him
the
alone.
sunset.
But if
Yes.
they
He
try
do that last
to
time. He's going to-
convict him, if they try to send him to prison, they will have instigated a civil war. And that's not going to be very helpful considering the rest of the world is on fire. And you can definitely count on World War III happening.
I mean, locking up a felon is kind of what happens.
it's
when you're-
predictable human
Mhm.
behavior. But it's
I'm not
predictable
saying-
human
I'm not
behavior.
let her finish.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's predictable human behavior. If you try and lock up the most popular president in modern history, you are going to start a civil war. That is happening.
Your
It's because
response?
human behavior
he
is that
a popular
predictable.
president?
In the 21st century?
Yes,
Yes.
in
I mean,
modern
has he-
history, yes.
Has he won a popular vote yet?
In the 21st century, he's the most popular president in the
Popular
21st
president.
century.
Without the popular vote?
Yes. It's just as simple as that.
Yes.
After 2020,
All right.
yeah.
He is.
Sorry,
Why do
but when you
people think-
raid my
I have
house,
to say this.
when you
Yeah, I
raid
have
my
to say
house
this,
and put your
Archie.
hands in
People
my
think
spouse's
popularity-
underwear, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to
sorry.
say
Say it
this
again.
though. People
We're
assume
talking
like
about grabbing
influence,
people by the pussy?
popularity
No.
is but
Okay.
but
I think
popularity,
that way.
people think that it's always based on, positive, look a positive outlook. That's not the case. Everybody from left to right, we're talking about him. Everybody. That makes you
Right.
popular. That you
Yeah.
are a popular
Okay,
topic.
so
a
here's the
popular
thing about
subject.
the
And by that
about
metric alone, wait, let me finish the point. By that metric alone, you are the most popular person in modern history because everyone's talking about you. Love him or hate him. He is the most popular president in modern history.
So now here's the thing about it, because when they raided Mar-a-Lago, there were a lot of people who were on the Democrat side. They voted for Joe Biden. They were not fans of President Trump. They came out and said, yo, I am getting ready to vote for President Trump simply because of the fact that they raided Mar-a-Lago. What was the point of that? He's no longer in the White House. He's not a threat to you. You have the power. Why are you raiding his house? And a lot of Democrats had seen what was wrong with not even so much the Democrats, but the establishment in power, because we never had an outsider in office before for the president. You've never had that. You've never had it.
Okay.
Celine just said, I've heard women tell me I'm
this is
setting
another-
women back 100 years.
Oh yeah.
Voting
So
for Trump, you can't make it up.
yeah.
Shout out to
So
Celine.
as a conservative female who's a Trump supporter, yeah, even when I went to go and vote today, I don't know if you had the same experience, Twinkster. I was going to vote and people were staring at me. This is why I had my headphones in my ear. I was listening to my MAGA music, you know, Burden, Tom McDonald, American flags, bitch, you miss, excuse my French. And, you know, I was not trying to listen to anybody. I didn't want to hear any of the, not to say that there weren't people who were, you know, in love with the hat, love your hat and all the rest of it. I didn't want to hear any of the negative stuff.
I
But
live
because
in Carbon
as
County.
a conservative female, I've heard I'm a black white supremacist, I'm a racist, I'm a misogynist. No, I kind of believe in tradition. I believe in strong men. I don't think masculinity is toxic. I think bad behavior is bad behavior. And that's just how it is. But if I want to vote for President Trump somehow because I don't think that I should be voting for Kamala Harris. Well, she's the first black woman. The broad is not black. I don't care that she's female. We did the symbolism thing with Obama. I was a teenager. I'm assuming Celine was the same way. You know, I was a teenager. You were a teenager. I didn't have any opportunities to vote for Obama. And we did the symbolism thing when I was a kid. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. Trump had better policies. I'm tired of being told that because I'm a minority female that somehow I'm supposed to put aside what really matters. You're completely right, Celine. People are going to tell you, especially women, they're going to tell you that you're wrong for voting for Trump. I got the looks when I went to vote. People were giving me crazy ass looks. We got another comment from Tuppence. I'm all for macho, but not toxic macho. Right. Just don't be an ass.
So can I be clear?
One more comment. I believe in two genders. That's enough to be a conservative. Celine, you're funny. What word? That's really all it
Carbon
takes.
County. And the majority of people who were voting where I was at were white. So when I pulled up, I got dirty looks. They didn't know who I was voting for. Now, mind you, they assumed I didn't get a sticker. They literally
assumed you voted for Kamala.
They gave me a dirty look. They took my name and said, "Oh, you live here?" Like I had to prove. They asked for my ID. Mind you,
they asked for my ID too
in
Strasbourg.
I gave them my ID. They literally They asked for my ID. The guy who I was number 415 was my actual number, and the other guy didn't have ID, so they let him. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Listen to that part. The other guy didn't have an ID. I wonder why he didn't have an ID.
It was some white dude. He didn't have ID.
Was he white and not some illegal?
No, he had a Trump hat. He had a Trump shirt.
That is irrelevant. Did he have an ID?
No, he didn't have an ID.
That's why he couldn't vote.
No. They pushed him to the side, and he was trying to give what type of identification he could prove. Like it wasn't a state ID. So he was showing light bills and all this other stuff. But it's like, dude, if you don't have a license or something,
proof of identity is what you
identification. Need. So somehow I was number 415. When I put my vote in, it came up and said 413, which is his number. I don't know if that matters. I'm just saying it happened. Not saying that they're still in elections, but if they do, I know my vote counted as his.
So I have an update, you guys. Trump is at 177 electoral votes to Kamala Harris 99. The Senate, we are up to 46 seats in the House for Republicans and 46 in the Senate and 79 in the House. So it looks like we are going to keep our majority in the Senate. The House is iffy. Governorships, we got 23 to their 22.
I am going to show the poly market right
presidency
now. You have the poly market.
177 electoral votes, but Trump's ratings are going up on the betting market, on poly market.
Right. Well, the poly market shows that Trump is up 73.6. Kamala is at 26.7%. You can see in these maps here, he's up almost to 80. He's between 60 and 80. He's at 71.6.
Yeah, they have like over $1 billion backing Trump.
Yeah, there's
like,
billions in this number right now. The volume in this betting market.
I find it weird that if Trump doesn't win, y'all said it might be a civil war, and you said that with like the most easiest voice, like, oh, it'll be a civil war. Like,
No,
Because
this
you're
is
predicting human
acceptance.
behavior. I mean, like, think
Acceptance.
about it. Like, let's take. I'm gonna give you a perfect
I want a
example.
civil war.
Let's say
Yeah.
we're on Themyscira. I'm Queen Hippolyta, and I raise a human girl who just came out of a war-ridden zone where they, somewhere in the Middle East. I raise her to hate men and say that they are the biggest problems. She grows up, creates a
Mhm.
chemical weapon to kill all men in the world. Was that shocking?
Right. It's like
I'm asking you, what is it shocking that a person I teach to hate men grows up to create a chemical weapon to kill all men? Is that surprising?
Is it surprising? No. But
Why is it not surprising? Why is it not
well,
surprising?
she's raised to hate men. But the
So
problem I had,
when you look at it, exactly. So when you look at an entire American population and more than half, because you're looking at 75% of the American population are on Trump's side, 75% of them. And 65% of them are living below the
Yes.
poverty line, pay to paycheck. And 67% of them were pissed as heck when they launched lawfare. And 70% were pissed when they took shots at him twice. And everyone said, if he dies, and this was on Twitter, trending on
if he
Twitter by
died, that
over
would have
2
been a problem.
million.
You're right.
If he died, if you send him to prison, try to take him off the ballot, or try to keep him from
Right.
challenging anything
I
in the state.
do have some comments
Predictable
here.
human behavior. One second. Predictable
Yeah.
human behavior takes them into civil war against not
Well, here's the question.
Democrats versus
Here's the question I
conservatives,
asked.
because people
Are
seem
you
to
Hang on, let her
think
fighting
finish.
that
Let her
war?
finish. Let her finish.
people seem to think that the civil war is going to be between Democrats versus Republicans. No, it's going to be the American population versus its government. That's
Are
where
you-
we
are-
are at, because
you
it would have
gonna
been
let
the
him go.
government that sent them to prison.
Are
No,
you going
not
to be
people.
fighting that war?
Heck yeah, I'm one of those. I don't have no children yet. I'm
Look,
all willing
I'm
to
be
go
honest.
down for that one.
I'm glad Trump wasn't shot. I always made a joke that Philly can't never talk about how they shooters no more because you missed him. Oh, his head is pretty big, so it was an easy target.
tempted to
But
play that music video. I
all
won't
jokes
even
aside,
lie.
I'm glad he didn't get killed because that would have caused to me a civil war. You can't kill a man's candidate. You can't kill the people's candidate if that's the people's candidate. However, if he loses, which is possible
Don't let him
because
go off into the sunset.
it's a 50-50 chance. We can say all this about what the polls are saying, but there's
I'm not talking about polls.
I'm just saying, if he loses tonight, I'm telling you that the president, who we call retarded, is going to
He is.
make sure he goes to jail because he
Civil
is a
war.
felon. He is a
Okay, so
felon.
I do
Civil
have
war.
some comments here. I am gonna go over some comments. We have a comment from Celine. The first one from Celine is Obama was in office when I was 9 to 17 years old. Yep, same here, Celine. I became interested in politics because of Trump and saw through the media lies at just 16. Another one from Celine.
Good
I
for
wasn't really as into politics as I was in 2016. I just thought Trump was the funniest president who also knows how to be a leader. Another one, the fear mongering ads Kamala's campaign has to make women feel scared is disgusting. I'm assuming
Disgusting.
that
She
was
meant to put
disgusting, yeah.
disgusting.
I agree with that. Before I go any further into the comments, though, I do want to cover where we are. Not remove, add to stage. So these numbers, 177 to Kamala's 99. 177 for Trump, Electoral College votes, 299 for Harris. So far, things are looking pretty good here. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, Asia, but okay. So we do. Well, let me, before I go any further, you guys can support the show by cash apping me at #RShellBranch. You can also support by, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you guys are interested in having your own show open the way I have, my music is amazing. You can go ahead and you can hit up Matthew Torrance at scoresomemusic.com.
Shout out to
wonders for
Matthew
me.
Torrance. Thank you,
he
Matt.
kicked butt. Like he
Thank you,
asked me,
Matt. Thank you,
he
Matt.
asked me what kind of music I wanted, and he delivered. He definitely delivered, and I think Matthew was amazing. He definitely delivered, and I think you guys would get the same kind of treatment. He will ask you all the questions. What's your style? What kind of viewers do you have? It's pretty amazing. You guys want to support the show again? You can support the show by Cash Apping me at hashtag Arshel Branch. Okay, so as we were saying, when it comes to Kamala Harris, you know, I mean, I think we have this in the bag. You know, she's not like Joe Biden. They don't have the same guys as they had in 2020. And I think that's pretty obvious. You know, you and I have talked about this a million times. I've said this on previous episodes. They don't have the same guys with Kamala that they had with Joe Biden. You know, in order for a magician to prove that a trick is real, a magician must have a plausible diversion. In this case, a plausible moderate. Kamala is not that moderate. There's too much information about her. She's had too many years where she could have pretended to be a moderate, and she didn't. She was just an open communist, right? Not a socialist because she cares, like Jill Stein. Jill Stein is a socialist because she cares, right? If anybody was going to vote for someone that wasn't President Trump, I would have had them vote for Jill Stein over Kamala Harris. And when you look at these electoral votes, I mean, even just by the Associated Press, when you look at what I was pulling up on the YouTube channel, what you were telling me earlier, what you've been pulling up on those maps, even just by looking at the differences. I mean, the fact that you were saying earlier that President Trump doesn't need Pennsylvania. I mean, I still think he needs Pennsylvania personally. I just think that's the swing state that if he wins, it's hard for him. It's not for him, but hard for the left to cheat on that one. And the reason why I say that is because we need, well, let me finish first. The reason why I say that we need Pennsylvania is because if he gets that one, I think that's like what, over 15 electoral votes. He gets Pennsylvania along with the others as well. This one shows we would have won in a landslide. The numbers would be so big, it's hard for them to cheat, period. They can't cheat if the numbers are so large. And obviously with the work that we saw, the groundwork that we saw from the early voting, the mail-in ballots, Lara did her job. Love her in that position because clearly she did her work there. We have boots on the ground. I saw a couple of them when I went to go and vote, and I was so thrilled to see some of the pollsters that were there, some of the attorneys that were going to be there. People were there on the ground making sure that we had a fair election, at least in Pennsylvania, because we saw in 2020 things were changed. We didn't like the idea that you were having the early voting. It's election day, not election month. We've been voting since freaking August in some states. You know, the mail-in ballots, but the founders didn't trust mail-in ballots, which is why they were voting in person. There was a reason for that. COVID comes along. Biden wins because he's the moderate. You don't have the guys because Kamala is clearly not the moderate. She didn't choose Josh Shapiro because, well, she wanted to choose someone who was pro-Palestinian so she can get the Muslim vote. The Muslims are voting for either Jill Stein or President Trump. And when you look at what the electoral votes were just at the beginning of the day, I mean, from when when the votes were being counted, when it was between Biden and Trump, it was at 90 something to 30 something. Biden was right. He was far stronger.
Election on Tuesday. Sorry, this was on Tuesday because it took 2 days to travel. They would get you off on Sunday.
Why is that relevant?
It took 2 days to travel by horseback.
Why is that relevant?
He's explaining why election day happens on a Tuesday. I mean, when you're traveling by horseback.
Yeah, you're traveling by horseback from Boston down to Philly, or when they move to DC, it takes you 2 days to get there. We have technology now. You know, I mean, we have cars, and I personally believe that election day should be on a weekend so that we can actually have more people voting.
You have early voting.
No, or do the early voting. I'm saying that we should be doing what we're doing now because that Tuesday voting is just making more citizens unable to vote. Because if I'm a single mother, if you're a single mother and you have kids who you have to do a double shift, you don't got time to go to a poll on a Tuesday, not without taking a pay cut. You know what I mean? Also, Cash App, Comedy Pay, 2 Wise. My whole thing is, I don't think there's no reason why. I personally believe that us having new ways to vote is a great thing because the Constitution is a living document. So things are going to change. And they're changing for the better And also, in some ways, we're still stuck in old times. Don't get me wrong. I don't. If Trump wins, I'm not going to be here saying, "Oh my God, we have next 4 years. We're going to be it's going to suck." But if Kamala wins,
So
I'm kind of neutral. I didn't really care for either candidate like that. I really didn't. I think it'd be funny if Trump. It'll be funnier if Biden sucked. I'm a comic.
So I'm gonna say this.
Boring.
I'm-
And he did nothing for comedy outside of falling down every 5 minutes, which was hilarious.
So I'm gonna say this. As far as why the election happens on a Tuesday and it's keeping single mothers hot, that's a bunch of malarkey. They're being lazy because our mother found a way to vote when there was, if there was no person in the house. I was at just voting today. Even the last presidential election I voted in when I was living in New Jersey, and Arshelle and I went to the polls to vote. There were single mothers there with their children. If they had an older child with them who was 14, they had them holding down their siblings while their mother or single father, because I think we don't pay enough credit to single dads, but the single parent leaves the older child with the younger child while I go into the polls. But they brought them to the polls. Even today, I saw mad single parents with their children. The older child was holding her baby sister while the mother was at the polls. I mean, there's a way to make it happen. And then with all of this subsidies that you're getting from your state, local, and federal government, why is your kid not in some kind of a daycare while you can go vote when we know that the government is paying for it 2 to 1? Like you got way more money put into childcare from the government. And if it didn't show up, because that bill got passed. So if it did not show up, understand, it's because somebody pocketed that money. These women should be able to vote. And that's for that point. When it comes to, we do have technology. So I give you the early voting. Screw mail-in ballots, because as we know, they were reporting that someone was blowing up the drop boxes. And these were votes in Democrat districts, both in Democrat and Republican. And it was for, some pro-Palestinian protester blew them up. So the hell with the mail-in ballots. Early voting I can get with, but get your ass to a voting center. On top of that, Arizona said at the beginning of their early voting, we need 12 days to count. What? Let me get this straight. So before the automobile, people found out who the president was. Like, that's why that's why it happened on a Tuesday.
So we do have an update.
Why do we have hold on, I just want to finish this last point. Why do you need 12 days to count when before AI was brought out to the mainstream, we were finding out the very next day? Obama was projected, and then Wednesday it was so.
Why do you have a problem with election day being moved to Saturday? Where
get your ass up and go.
Because what I'm saying is,
it's fine on Tuesday. It's fine on Tuesday.
Well, my reasoning for that is, if we move election day to Saturday, it allows more Americans, because what we want is Americans voting. No, we want Americans to
right, but you have early voting. It happens.
But you said you had a problem with early voting. You had a problem with mail-in ballots.
I don't have an issue with early voting. The population did increase since the 1800s. So you need early voting.
13 colonies people now.
But mail-in ballots is fraud. It's stupid.
So should we not have booths open the Saturday before?
But they are open Saturday before.
Oh, well then I'm good.
Yeah, that's early voting.
I'm saying, what was your issue? Your issue so you don't have a problem with mail-in voting. I'm saying, I said earlier,
no. Let me
vote. I'm saying election day should be election week.
Prince Adam, stop. I did not say I have a problem. I have a problem with mail-in ballots and mail-in voting. I do not have a problem with early voting. There is a difference.
What about
get your butt at the polls?
Hang on. Okay, so I have an update for the electoral votes. Okay. So we have 178 to Harris, 99 for president. For the Senate, we had 46 for Republicans, 36. So we're up by 10 for the Senate, 46 to 36. And for the House, we're at 90 to 66. The popular vote, Trump is ahead, 52 to 46.8%. Jill Stein's obviously not doing so well at 0.4%. and you can see the numbers over here: 178, 299, and obviously
Yeah,
we're
he
doing
needs
pretty well.
92
Conservatives
more
are
Do
doing
we have an
electoral.
issue?
Wow.
So I mean, I'm be honest. I hate the electoral college. To be honest with you,
Well,
because,
I
we can
don't.
talk about that on a different day. Right now,
Okay.
that's how the election
no,
functions.
it's how it works. It's
Yep.
how it works.
So for how it
We-
works
we-
at the moment, this is what we're going to be.
Right. Now, mind you,
So
understand that.
that's where it's at.
Any,
Okay, so here's the thing.
I love her so much.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
dope.
it's how it works at the moment.
No.
At the
I
moment,
got
this
you.
is how it
I
works.
got you. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm
Right.
on this platform
So,
just to
okay, so
support.
you guys, as I said in previous episodes, sometimes the mouse doesn't work on this computer, so you're going to see my arms be moving around, touching the screens a bit. If you guys want to support the
I
show,
hear you.
you
See
can
me,
go
I'm
ahead.
doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, for elections, because we're touching screens and we're being as active as we possibly can, it doesn't really bother me for these. Pre-recorded videos is a lot harder. Editing
That's all right.
is
You're
ridiculous.
like the dude from Fox, constantly breaking news. Just keep.
Yeah, I mean,
CNN, the
it's
breaking news is all is
yeah,
what you're doing.
it's-
You got
it's
this. You got
fun.
this. You're killing it.
it's something.
It's
It's
fun.
definitely something. Okay, so you
The
guys, if you
Wolf
want to
nigga, he's
support,
on CNN every 5 minutes.
I don't watch CNN, so I don't know none of their names.
I
except for
can't
what,
wait to
Nina
do it when
Ash.
it's Super Bowl season and when it's Super Bowl time and I can touch the screen like the Jets just got the Super
This
Bowl.
just happened. This just did. Listen,
That's funny.
This is
You guys
amazing.
can support the show by cash apping at hashtag our show branch. If you want to support the show, we are a little business here. Support the show by cash apping me at hashtag our show branch. Anything you guys can support is amazing. You can also support the show by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and you can share this video when the video is
Smash
over.
that like button.
Let's
Subscribe.
definitely get. You're funny. You can definitely
hit the
help
bell.
beat the
Ding.
algorithm.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
You guys are silly.
Sorry, we're
Smash that like
teasing her.
button.
She's the youngest.
Subscribe.
She's the youngest.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Okay, I
having
just gotta
smash the like
say
button.
this side note.
Subscribe.
I gotta say this. Why didn't Prince Adam? Why didn't you say something about Aaron Rodgers being at the Jets? I had no idea until I saw him playing the other day. It was like he's at the Jets. Get out of here!
You
I
didn't
can
know
root for them now.
Oh, that
No.
was last year. He played one game, broke his ankle.
You're funny.
So he
That's
was,
why I didn't
if you'd
know.
have watched
Like, I didn't
HBO
see
had
it.
a whole fucking they did the whole they followed the team for the year and it was supposed to be a big thing. Then he broke his ankle in like the fourth play, and now he came back this year, but he was out most of last year. But I don't give a fuck
That's
about
why.
the Jets and Aaron Rodgers because I'm a Giants fan. I love the Jets, but I'm a
I hear
Giants
you.
fan.
I just
And we
you know
lost
what I need?
Saquon
I
Barkley,
need-
and he
I
jumped
need
over a
someone in New
motherfucker.
York to win. I just need
Saquon
someone in New York to win.
Saquon Barkley just jumped over somebody 6 feet, and we gave him up to the Eagles. So I'm more concerned with the
Oy.
fact that we're losing. You should log in.
I just need somebody to win. After the Yankees,
Yeah.
I just need to win. Sorry about that, Twinkster. It was something I was like, why did
Aaron
nobody
Rodgers
tell?
Yeah, he's a Jet now, which is great for them. I
It's
want a
fun.
quarterback, to be honest with you. I want
Yeah.
a black quarterback. I want a quarter black
Oh gosh,
on the Giants. I need a
quarter black.
any quarter black.
dear God, you are something else.
Yeah,
I just need a New York
It's about that time. We need a quarter black.
We just need a win in New York. 10 years,
That's what-
people. 10
And
years.
to get that win, we need a quarter
Long
black.
time. Irrelevant. It's not important. I mean, we just need a win.
Oh man.
Just need
Let me turn that.
Oh
fan on
man,
real
a win like
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like Trump is going to get tonight. That's what it's looking like. But remember
I've
what
been
I
saying
said at the
that.
top of
I've
your
been saying
show.
that.
At the top of your show, I was saying we got to stay on top of the Associated Press, Fox News, and NBC because unfortunately, mainstream media, legacy media, and the Associated Press, these are the ones who call the projected, the president elect. So you have to follow those, unfortunately. Maybe
Mhm.
that'll change down the road. Who knows? But right now, it's looking like that's who we have to stay on top of. The Associated Press is definitely the best place to keep an eye on when you're doing stuff like this, doing the lives. But I would definitely say, someone on your end definitely has to keep an eye on Fox News and NBC just to see what they're saying. All I can see is that the betting markets are definitely showing Wisconsin, which is shocking, in Trump's favor, at least in the betting market. Same thing with Pennsylvania. Why the Associated Press map has not changed yet is beyond me. No way. The Associated Press is showing that Minnesota could be leaning toward Trump. If that happens, because it's Tim Walz, it's Tampon Man. If Tampon Man loses in his own state, That's going to be hilarious. And then it won't matter if Kamala Harris takes Pennsylvania. That's going to be funny. That's going to be funny if Minnesota is lost.
I did see
I mean,
numbers
Trump
that
won
were
this.
saying that Trump
And it
was
looks like he
going
could
to-
win Maine. It does look like, I'm looking at the Associated Press map right now. It looks like he could win 3 of the 4 districts of Maine. It's looking like Minnesota is leaning toward Donald Trump. Pennsylvania from the Associated Press is still showing leaning toward Kamala Harris. But again, the betting market on Poly Market, it's showing that he's still up by 8. Not even 8. That looks like 11.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
up 11%.
that's one of the things that I'm seeing here, you know,
mean,
because the numbers are just going up and up for Trump. It's still at 178 to
Trump.
99. And I definitely did want to see what those numbers were looking like. I am looking at the Fox News numbers. Of course, there's an ad. That's just how that goes. But yeah, for sure. I think that one of the things that I definitely want to be able to see is what happens with Pennsylvania. For me, it's really just the swing states that really are the most important for me, because I feel like that with these particular states, this is how he's going to be able to win. And then when I look at these numbers for the Associated Press, when I look at what's happening on the Poly Market is clearly showing that Trump is going to win this. I mean, here's the thing. I was having a conversation with our cousin earlier, actually, and we were talking about what was going to happen tonight. And I was saying, here's the thing. Trump is going to win this. And I was looking at the comment sections these last few weeks. You know, they were talking about the Madison Square Garden thing. Obviously, Kamala Harris had some support after the SNL bit. All of those things was actually
Madison Square Garden was
happening. And these are one of the things that I really wanted people to pay attention to in that regard. And for me, it's part of the reason why I wanted people to pay attention to what was going on, specifically if you were in a swing state. You know, not say that I don't care if you're in one of these radical blue states. You know, if you're in a blue state, it's not that it doesn't matter, because I see with New Jersey and New York, it's quite competitive at the moment. However, I'm not surprised if Trump doesn't win those states. Now, I have seen some similarities between the Trump numbers in projections for this election compared to what's going to be the case for like Ronald Reagan when he was running for his second term. And I do think that that's something that people should get interested in, what people should be getting excited about in that regard. And what I want people to understand when it comes to these numbers, especially because Lara Trump has taken over with the RNC, looking at what the early voting has been looking like, these numbers are less likely to be manipulated because of the work, the boots on the ground. And that was something I was very excited about. I was very confident that Trump was going to win this because of what was happening with illegal immigration, how bad the economy was going, the wars. I mean, Jill Stein, the Green Party, has had a lot of work done here. You know, I mean, because of how bad Joe Biden has been doing. So, I mean, let me get someone who is not really interested in what, not so much that you're not interested. It's more of it was like literally a coin toss for you. So what was that like? You know, you're not, for you. What did you think? What was going on here with all this?
Be totally honest. So keep it a buck. I literally went into the booth. I didn't give a damn about either candidate. I flipped the coin and I voted for some Democrats and some Republicans. And primarily because as long as the president hasn't affected my bottom line, and in the last 19 years of me driving, he hasn't, I haven't cared. You know, who's president? I personally would rather get rid of the whole idea of a president because I don't think it makes sense. We're following rules from 1784, whatever year, 1776. I'm not really a big fan of the president at all because it's pointless. We're literally doing this as if it's a football game and wondering who's going to win. It's entertaining. It's entertainment for me. I don't see how anybody would storm a Capitol because your candidate didn't win. So what I'm saying is, since we are following these rules, if your candidate loses, the weakest thing that Trump could have done for me was not conceded the election when he lost. He lost last time.
No.
I got it. He doesn't believe he did, or his followers don't, but his daughter thinks he did.
No, she doesn't.
She said he did. She said he did. So my question is, if he loses tonight, if he wins tonight, that's my president. And I'll fucking follow the lead, quote unquote, that we're supposed to do of our president. I don't think we should have a civil war from a lost election. That's crazy. It's just personally, I think this. If we are a progressive nation and we are the leader of the world, we have to lead better.
So this leader of the world nonsense, and this is one of the reasons why I am America first.
Right.
We're supposed to lead by example.
Sure.
And we don't do that. We lead by going into people's countries and telling them how they're supposed to live their lives and
Sure.
making policies about how they're supposed to do that. Yeah, Trump didn't do that. Okay. We didn't go around the world saying you have to be this way. No, if you're not going to abide by what is human rights, then we're just not going to do business with you. The only country he did decide to do business with was Saudi Arabia because of their oil, which we know we have the mineral riches here in the United States, which is one of the reasons why we get cheaper gas prices. I mean, at the end of the day, we have presidents so they can deal with the business when it comes to the foreign interactions, but we're a federalist society, number one, which means governors make decisions and the states make decisions about how they are going to lead, how they're going to govern, how their state society is going to
That's fair.
survive, live,
So-
and all the rest of that.
So that
The
being
problem
said-
that we've
Wait.
had these
Sorry.
last few decades, I'm going to finish this point for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
The problem that we've had in these last few decades is that we've ignored the fact that we were a federalist society. We've given up so much and abdicated responsibility to the federal government. We don't know what real freedom or independence is. And there's a lot of entitlement, but not just entitlement, but we don't even know what real freedom is. So we're okay with saying, no, government, take care of me. When someone comes out and says, no, I'm going to give it back to the states, we lose our minds. Oh, no, I'm mad if he says I'm going to ban abortion. He didn't say that. He said it's back to the states. Oh, I'm upset if he says I'm going to get rid of the Board of Education. No, it should be up to the parents and the school boards that make those decisions. You don't need the Board of Education. We're mad when we want to shrink the government down to size so the people could actually do their part. We're mad when a president says, I want us to get back to what is being a federalist society and a constitutional one at that, rather than getting upset when some woman, at this point, Kamala Harris, says she wants to take away our guns, murder babies up to the 9th month, and make life that much harder. We're heading into World War III with this one.
Has
So
As a
so
president-
wait, before you respond, I wanna get into this conversation. I wanna really respond first to Prince Adam's point, because you went first and you were talking about how I think you said for the past 19 years. I think that's how long you've been a trucker, right?
Yep, almost
A
20.
little longer than that, but
19
almost 20 years.
19 years.
I
Yeah, almost
think
20 years.
I think a huge part of the reason why, funnily enough, this point was actually made on Blackish right after Donald Trump won the first time around in 2016, that the main actor, can't remember his name, he was in Transformers. He's the one that said, don't talk to me, criminal. That's funny because that's all they called Donald Trump. Anyways, he made the point that he refuses to believe that majority of the country was racist, and they do
Name was
believe it.
Anthony.
He believes that he believed that that these people voted for Donald Trump because they believed that there was something wrong with the country that they felt Trump could course correct, and he had to have faith that they made the right choice. But he said, but I don't expect anyone in the federal government to make any kind of a change that'll affect me. And that's the same point that Prince Adam here just made. And honestly, I think that the reason why a lot of Americans feel that way is because America has gotten used to the government pretty much creating this, pretty much doing everything. And the thing is, the last time we had before we had this transformative government in the 60s, because that's really where you started to see the welfare state really kick in and government get so much bigger. Before that, the American population had to do everything themselves. I mean, you look at Black America as a perfect example because they could not rely on government because, people were racist back then, right? They couldn't rely on anyone in government. Everything was about, I got to work hard. I got to do it myself. Government ain't coming. No one's coming to save my life. What, 911? They're not coming here. Someone breaks in. I have to handle it myself. But Americans for the past 40, 50 years have gotten so used to government doing everything. They did everything and they do everything that no matter who you vote for or from which party, nothing actually changes. And that's why people, I think, got in such an uproar when Donald Trump came in. When we say he was the disruptor in chief, we mean it. When people were saying, oh, but conservatives and Republicans are all about vote their values, how can you say something? How could you choose a man who said grab women by the P word? And really, this is what happened in 2016, why people voted for him in 2020, and why we're voting for him again, and why we voted for him again in 2024. It's because specifically conservatives have realized that we are not going to rely on government to dictate the shape of culture, our values. I need you to do 3 things and 3 things only. Protect the national security of our nation. That's number 1. Number 2, negotiate deals that provide opportunity in America. And number 3, secure my constitutional rights. That's it. No more, no less. It's not to do anything else. And so when you have a candidate who says, I'm going to just shrink government, I'm going to get them out of your way, I'm going to deregulate. Prince Adam, you say that you haven't felt any changes, but in some ways, that is not entirely true. You're spending a lot of money on gas and fuel. Now, you can say that that's because we weren't, there was COVID and the shutdowns and there wasn't a lot of fracking. But under Biden, they still were fracking. Why were you paying so much still? Groceries were going up. And why is that? Because our government was allowing a lot of foreign adversaries to come in and buy up the agriculture, not letting our American farmers and ranchers and agricultural industry do the job. But why are we feeling the effects? You see, people only want to focus on the parts where it's like my life didn't change much, but that's not entirely true. I have conversations with liberals all the time here. Good friend of mine, Prince Adam, you met her. I won't say her name, but
Some of my best friends
she's
are
the same
Black.
way. She thinks the same way, somewhat the same way as you do. That's funny. I can't say her name though. I agreed. I won't say her name.
Some of my best friends are Black.
She doesn't like Donald Trump, like at all. I know she voted for Kamala Harris. She believes that Kamala is going to give her $40,000, going to give blacks $40,000, but she's not going to give it to them. She's going to give it to the illegals. How do I know this? Well, I just watched them give $50,000 to an illegal to buy a business. I just watched them give $30,000 to an illegal to buy a house in Chicago. I saw this happen. And so the fact that people are sitting here saying that their life isn't being affected by who they're voting for, the only reason why you're saying that is because for so long, government just did things. And no matter what you voted or who you voted for, none of it changed. And then Trump
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
This shit is wrong.
As a conservative, I'm assuming you want government out of your life.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so that being said, if we want, I have conservative views. There are certain things I agree with, but I don't believe
you're
any person.
You're physically conservative. Fiscally.
No, I don't. Like I don't believe any person is one or two things. Like we have multiple football teams and baseball teams.
Okay, can we hold the thought for a second?
Sure,
okay, so we do have an update. And numbers are, I mean, I said it though, 188 for Trump to 99 for Harris. I mean,
yeah, crazy. It's crazy.
52.4% Trump for the popular vote, 46.3
Trump winning the popular
to Kamala
vote?
Harris. Trump is winning the popular vote, but
if Trump wins the popular vote, I'm all for it. Here's my thing.
He closed that gap a lot. He's up a lot.
OG.
Back to what I was saying.
I was at 170 something a minute
back
ago.
to what I was saying, and understand, I'm not a Trumpster. I'm not a Kamala Harris supporter. I've never been the type of person who's going to assign to any team or any player. If I'm a Giants fan, I root for the Giants. You understand? I treat my politics the way I treat my sports teams, which means if the player isn't good, he has to go. Daniel Jones needs to get the fuck off the Giants. If
I have a question for you.
If the best that the conservative party has to offer is Donald Trump, should we not be looking for somebody who isn't grabbing women by the pussy? And I say pussy because
Gosh, I hate that word.
Because P word and N word is something I don't believe in, because you're just making somebody else say the word you want to say.
No,
we're gonna just say it.
Yeah, we believe in minding our mouth.
I
But I have a question for you though.
What I'm saying,
Why do you look at politics like sport and not like something more important?
Look at what's happening tonight. When they advertise if you look at any channel, whether it's Fox News, CNN, or whoever you watch, right now they are playing the politics as if it's a sporting event. They're advertising.
No, I get that. I'm not
suggesting.
I'm not.
To me.
I understand the media implications.
The leader of
I
the
want
free
to.
world.
I'm not asking you about the media implications, Princess. I'm not asking about the media implications.
So you
take the media out of it.
Okay.
Why
do I look at it
let her ask the question?
And why do you look at politics like a sport and
because
not like
I'm America first, and I'm America first, right?
Don't take our
if I'm America first, I want the best person to lead the country, not my party. I don't have a party. I'm not a conservative. I don't subscribe to conservatives. I'm not a liberal. I don't subscribe to the liberals because both of them are fucking retarded, as Trump said. Kamala Harris was, but I don't think that Donald Trump is the best option for. First off, I don't think you should be able to run for president if you're over 65. Personally, because I don't believe in the president at all. But let's just say if you can't run for president until you're a certain age, there should be an age limit where you can run. You should not be in control of the future that you're not going to be able to see. Donald Trump is implementing laws that he won't be around to see happen. He's too fucking old. So is Joe Biden. Both of them.
So
are
here's
too
the
old.
reason.
Kamala Harris, to me,
So this-
she's pushing the limits. But I don't think
So
no
here's what I
70-year-old
think.
man should dictate my children's future. And personally, as a black man,
here's
no
what I think.
70-year-old white man should dictate my children's future. That's just me.
So this is
And now, mind you,
I think.
hear me out. Let me
if-
answer your question. I am not a Kamala Harris supporter. I personally believe that we should no longer have a president because, truth be told, we have more than 13 colonies, and one man should not dictate what happens for the entire free world.
Okay,
have a
so
Senate
with
for
that
that?
being said,
Okay, let her.
I understand
That's
that you think
why I
that we
flipped
don't
the
need.
coin.
I
Not
understand
because
that you
I
don't
didn't
think
care.
we don't need a president. Wait, you think we don't need a president of the United States because we have
turkey.
50
He's a
states,
turkey.
not 13 states, right? You think we don't have
He's a
to
turkey.
because we don't have
Let her
13 states
Let her go.
anymore and we have 50. We don't need one president. Here's the problem with your logic.
Go ahead.
First of all, the federal government is not meant to be it's not meant to be interfering in all 50 states. That's the point of a governor. The problem is the federal government has taken on the responsibility of states. The thing about the United States of America is that this is a contract between the state and the federal government. And for decades, the federal government has been has reneged on their end. Your job is to secure this country. Your job is to protect our national security. Increasing the deficit puts our national security at risk. Opening the border puts our national security at risk. Stopping fracking hurts our national security. Allowing foreign investment into our industries that don't require or didn't require, I should say, foreign investment hurt the national security. On those metrics alone, the federal government should have already ceased a contract with every state in this country. Why did that not happen? Because everyone thought we were in a democracy. Everyone thought that we were that the federal government is meant to oversee it all. hogwash. Every state is a part of the republic based on a mutual agreement. They failed on their end, which means every state, if they chose to today to secede, could have. Why? Because the federal government failed in their duties and their obligations. The president of the United States and the federal government, like I said, is only supposed to do really three things: protect our national security, protect opportunity, and interfere where states violate civil liberties. And then after that, let the states go at it. Let them do their own thing. Let states negotiate their own
Can we
deal.
agree that
This is
the
how
federal
this
government-
country was
the-
supposed to
the
be
federal
governed,
government's
but
power-
it's not being that way.
the federal government's power, the actual, we have two different business. We have the United States of America and the United States. One is the business and one is the country. The business only has jurisdiction within Washington, D.C. The way their business flourishes further is by implementing the American dollar, which
Okay.
is why
I've let this
okay.
go on for a bit.
Hold on. Just hear me out. Hear me out. What I'm saying is the federal dollar, since if I right now I own a cigar lounge, right? And if I was to sell alcohol federally, I can't do it under the jurisdiction of the United States without a license unless I sell it for something else. If I decide to sell it for Bitcoin or Dogecoin, it's completely legal.
Okay, I gotta
Right, so
interrupt you for a second.
what I'm saying is,
Hold on, I gotta interrupt because I have an
I don't
update.
believe that
Prince
we
Adam,
should
I
give.
have Prince Adam.
Hang on,
I have an
Go
update
ahead.
for the election. We have an
Go
update.
ahead.
Donald Trump is officially at 198 electoral votes to Kamala Harris 99 votes. And according to the Associated Press, Pennsylvania
crazy.
has finally flipped to red. We are just waiting for them to call it. And it looks like Tampon Walz may just lose his own home state.
Oh,
This is
it's
the who?
amazing.
Could be a
Tampon Walz. Tim Walz.
Tim
Tampon
Walz.
Tim.
You call him
Tampon Tim.
tampon.
Yeah, Tampon
Hilarious.
Tim. Yeah. Okay. So
Tampon
I do
Tim.
have to say this. I
He
do
did
want
this
people.
commercial where he pulled the
Yeah.
tampon out.
Okay.
Like, did
So
you
I
not see
do
that?
want people to know I'm having some. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. So I'm having some technical difficulties on my end. My computer is acting crazy. So, there's some things going on here. I'm going to read the comments from my cell phone because I'm having a hard time pulling it up here on my computer. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to read it from here. We have a comment from who's that say, let's see, let me just come back up here. Let's see, from Anthony Fisher. Thank you so much for joining in on the live. Anthony, thank you for being here. So by his logic, just smoke weed and live hip hop. That's hilarious. We have another one from Anthony Fisher. Let her speak. It's talking about Asia. Okay, we got another one from Tuppence.
Let her cook.
That guy is family. Every voice and opinion is welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tuppence.
Thank
Awesome
you.
to have you here.
Comedy Pay, Two
Okay.
Wise.
Yes,
Hit
so if
that
you
up.
guys want to support the comedy guy who also is a partner here with the Kingdom Cigar Lounge, he's the guy that gave you the opportunity to record from here. So, we do disagree, obviously, on election day. That's something. We got another comment from Anthony Fisher. I do want to apologize again for the technical difficulties. I'm unable to pull up the comments, but I can read them because thank goodness for modern technology. I can pull it up from my cell phone.
Facts.
Word. Okay. So thank God.
Laptop. We got another laptop over there.
Well, you're more than welcome to go ahead and get your laptop so I can see it from here. Because my goodness, this computer is
niggas
pissing me
today.
off right now, and I don't
Niggas
know why.
today.
Okay, so from the laptop, Anthony Fisher. Thank God for a Congress and a Senate and the House and the executive branch. Why is he even there? You all are speaking way over his head. You can tell he has never been out of the States. Actually, he has. He's a truck driver. He's been all over the United States as a truck driver. So we've spoken to several different political parties as relates to going outside of the country. I mean, we travel for vacation, right? I've never been to Paris. No interest, really. I've never been to Russia. Russians remind me of the Klingons, though. So much respect for the Klingons. And I will say that, listen, we're, as a conservative side, we listen to other sides. We listen to other opinions. We may not like it. But to quote Ronald Reagan, it's not that the other side is ignorant or stupid. They know a lot about nothing.
I heard him
He
laugh.
was on it. Listen,
He
hey,
really liked
he
that-
got people
that
paid. Okay, he got people paid because he understood how that was
Yeah,
supposed
you
to work.
know,
I'm still waiting for my
I
computer.
I
to
have
get
to
it back to where I
say,
don't know why. So
he
trying
said
to
I meant
show
the
and
United
share-
States and Canadian. That's funny.
Trying
You
to
know, I
get-
have to say that when it comes
thank
to
you. Cut
this,
this guy off, or I got to go. I'm losing brain cells from this guy. Oh no, I meant the United States and Canadian. Look, we share opinions. You know, we share ideas. We share ideas. I did have him here. We do share ideas here.
Are they shitting on me?
They are shitting on you, dude.
Motherfuckers.
Don't call my viewers
They
MFers.
They some fuckers and mothers.
You don't get to call my viewers that. Okay, we don't do that
so this
because
is what I'll say.
say.
Yeah, so this is
You
what
fuckers and
what I'll
mothers.
say. That's funny. When it comes
Don't call my
to
viewers.
personally, when it comes to the elections, when it comes to elections and it comes to the voting process and why you're seeing this huge surge of people who just didn't want to vote is because of how bad things got under Biden. And, you know, I know a lot of people are saying, particularly about women caring so much about the right to delete a baby, but it's not going to matter if war breaks out. I mean, we are headed for World War III. If you look at what's happening on the, what would you call it? The Eastern Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to say, because of what's happening over there, it just seems like, yeah, you kind of need a change. And I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't look for I think the one thing that we got out of Donald Trump winning in 2016 and why him winning now would be so great is the fact that people are realizing you don't need the president of the United States to be this paragon of Christianity. I don't need him to be, I don't need my president to be the paragon of Christianity, right? The head of government just has to know how to do the three things I've already laid out. And and the head of state is to be Jesus Christ. Like, that's it. I do think you're going to have to see a little bit more of an increase from Christianity. I think we can I think Black church needs to be kicked out of that club all the way because they have been. Black church needs a they need a priest.
Can I interject for a second?
Black church needs an exorcist. But let me just get this one point out. I do think the head of state is meant to be Jesus Christ. Christianity, that would needs to take a hold of culture, and the president and your government, like, he just needs to be the head of government. I don't need you to lead us in a more moral way. I need culture to do that. I need Christ to become more popular and welcome back into the public square. And I think
I want to just say thank you. I want to say thank you.
Hold on. Let me finish this point. By voting Trump in, people are realizing I don't have to be caught in a quagmire about my morals and values anymore. When voting for a president, I just need to see if the policies are going to do better for me, so that way I can continue to be of service and not have to worry about government coming to get me because I want to be of service, because that's what's happened under Biden. And everybody knows that happened. And for those who don't want to acknowledge it, I mean, you can stay stuck in your huddle of refusal if you want to, and stay in the delusion, but understand you're forcing other people to just suffer alongside with you. And that's why people are like, I don't have to pick a paragon of Christianity. I don't have to pick a paragon of virtue. I need them to know what they're doing and get the heck out of my way. Let Jesus do the rest. He'll use me to do the rest. And I think that's the beauty about Donald Trump, both in 2016 and in 2024, personally. Because you had a fake ass Catholic running around here, but then you find that, now you're seeing him eat babies. I'm just saying.
Babies. Hold on. All right.
They're eating the cats.
They're eating the cats and eating the dogs. There's a lot to unpack in what you just said.
Okay, hold on.
Let me just say,
I'm just joking when I said Biden was eating the babies. I'm just joking. He was nibbling on their
food. Y'all allow me to come on the channel.
He only had pudding cups.
So let me be clear. I appreciate you allowing me to come on the channel and give another view.
Yeah, because we don't
because
want
that's
to be a
not
monolith.
you're,
Yeah.
you're not just trying to be
A monolith. Yeah.
fucking Fox News,
Can't stand Fox except for Judge Janine. Love me some Judge Janine.
whatever.
You don't know who she is, but I
No,
love her.
I don't watch it enough. But my point is, this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I didn't vote for Trump today. Right now, it's not because when I say I flipped the coin, I literally flipped the coin, and he just lost. So that's just what it is. I don't really give a fuck much about the politics that they're selling. I don't care about the commercials they put out. I want them to leave me alone while I'm watching football. I don't want to be bothered with politics when I'm watching football or baseball or basketball. I can't wait till this shit is over. I truly believe that if Trump becomes president, he's going to be on some vendetta shit. But at the same time, if he loses, Kamala is going to fucking put him in the stockade in the middle of Times Square. And that shit will be hilarious on either account. I'm a comic. I do shit that's fun for me. I'm an American. I vote in my best interest. And Trump or Kamala, no, he's not my best interest, because I'm gonna be real with you. I have not seen nothing that he said or she said that benefits me. Let's be real. Roe v. Wade being overturned. Listen, if I get a side bitch pregnant, I don't got no side bitches, but if I did, I would hope that she would murder that baby. This is listen, women have the right to murder babies, just like men have the right to not fucking raise them. I don't think that we should be obligated to raise a kid that we don't want. Period. In no aspect. You're in control of your body, and I'm in control of mine as well. Just because you had sex with somebody doesn't mean that motherfucker has to have a child. I'm just saying that
Take
we've
responsibility
all had
for
one-night
your
stands.
orgasms and raise that
Yeah,
child.
but orgasms feel good, mama. And sometimes you have an orgasm with somebody who you don't want to fucking marry. I don't want to marry every bitch I've ever fucked.
Yeah, no. Exercise some self-control or take responsibility for it and raise that child. This is the problem with society today, because
I do have a comment
and
here.
this is why men aren't going to be taken seriously. Like, here's the thing. It's in this order. It's
hold
God,
that thought for a second.
man.
1 second.
Hold on. Let her cook.
No,
let her cook.
No, hold that second for a second. I want to show the comments. I got to acknowledge the comments because I have an extra computer here, so I can acknowledge the comments. So from Anthony Fisher, I concur. That's with you, Asia. I concur. The black church is bought and not godly or serving the Lord anymore. Anthony Fisher again for another one. This guy. Go ahead, Twinkster. Go ahead.
And
Anthony
this is
Fisher,
why people are going to have a hard time.
Understand?
Yeah, no,
let her finish.
Stop.
Let her finish.
Stop.
I'm promoting.
This is why it's going to have a hard time allowing men to take control over society, because that women broke America along with some really bad policies written by racists and feminists from decades ago. Men need to step up and take control of society, but you are to be under the authority of the king. It's God, man, woman, child. But if you're running around here and not taking responsibility for the multiple children that come from the orgasms you refuse to control, take responsibility for it. The same way we're holding women accountable from having multiple baby daddies, you need to be held accountable too. Men, you are the ones who relinquish control. You abdicated that responsibility to women. This is the problem. When women decided that they wanted to reign free, we broke America. Western society collapsed. It's women who destroyed it. You allowed women. See, people seem to think that when you think about Adam and Eve, right? Let's just look at that biblical story for once. People think that Adam got consequences because he committed the same sin as Eve. No, she was punished because she ate the apple. He was punished because he didn't play his position. You were put here to oversee her. You listened to her. She gave you orders. You let her lead the household. And that was your failings, abdicating the responsibility of the home to her. And that was your failing, Adam. Her own failings was because she ate the apple. She disobeyed God. But the problem here is in modern.
What Adam did wrong wasn't that I gotta
No,
correct.
he
I gotta correct you.
abdicated the
What Adam did
responsibility.
wrong was
He abdicated
he
responsibility. He
blamed
listened
God.
to his wife.
He blamed God. See, the
No,
problem
he
that
listened to
when people-
her. He
No, no,
listened to
hold on,
her.
hold on. The
God
scripture
put
says
him above
Adam
her.
said to God,
God
he said,
put
the
Adam
woman you
above her
gave
for a
me,
reason.
Adam said, the woman you gave me. See,
Told me to do it.
so he's
Told me to do
blaming
it.
God for his mistake. The whole thing is
You're
Adam was a motherfucker who was
you're
like, yo,
leaving
God, I've been
something
hanging out
out.
with you for
You're-
800
see,
years.
here's the thing,
Me
and
you was
I
chilling
love
for
when
800
people
years,
say that.
and you gave
So
me
here's the
this
deal.
bitch, and
I love
now
it when
we're
people
getting kicked
use
out.
that. I love it when people say that. People say that
No,
all
but
the
the
time.
truth- that's
Liberals
the
specifically.
truth.
They
It's
not. It's a
about
half
man
truth.
not taking
It's a half truth.
responsibility. A
No, no, no,
man's
no,
job.
no, no.
Hold-
It's a
hold on,
half
hold on, hold
truth.
on. Hear me
You're
out.
sitting here
Hear me out,
saying
hear me out,
no.
hear me out.
You are saying that because his sin was blaming God. That is
Yeah.
half the truth.
Yes. No,
He
the
first
truth is,
committed the sin,
a
not
man's
when he was
job- a man's-
confronted.
a
No,
man's
no,
job is to
no,
take
no, no.
responsibility for
He
his
is not.
actions.
No,
As a man,
but that's the
hold on,
thing,
hold on,
Prince
hold on,
Adam.
sis, let me-
You
let me-
are
let me-
no.
think
You
we're
are.
getting
You
off.
are.
I got
No,
you. I
we're
got you.
not.
Just hear me,
Michelle, no, we are not.
hear me out. Hear me out for a
No,
second.
I'm gonna finish this
Hear me
point.
out for a second. Hear me out for a second. Hear
I'm
me out
gonna.
for a second.
I heard. Let me finish this point. Let me
let
finish
me
this
let me-
point.
let me-
Hey,
let
because
me
I'm
just
going to
say this.
moderate.
People-
I'm going to moderate. Adria, I'm going to let him go, and then you can respond.
All right.
You have a second.
As a man, it is my job to provide and protect. And in order to do that, you have to take responsibility for your actions. So when a man doesn't take responsibility for his actions, he's coming up short. So when God said, Adam, why are you naked? And he said, the woman you gave me told me I was naked. He was blaming God for his actions. The reason why they got, if Adam would have said, I fucked up, they would have been in the garden. What happened was, he's like, yo, this bitch you gave me, I've been chilling with you for 800 years, God, and there was no problems. You gave me this bitch, and now I'm getting kicked out. He's blaming her for his wrongdoings. He should, when he ate the apple, let's be clear, and the fruit. When he ate the fruit, he
Okay,
was
I'm
standing
gonna
right next to her when she
respond to
did it.
that though.
I say that to say this. I say that to say this.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Every man is responsible for his action.
Okay.
As the leader, as the head,
Okay.
Of the house.
because the woman is the spine. The spine keeps you straight,
Mhm.
but the head has the thought.
Okay.
Okay.
As a man,
I'm
I
leaving
gotta
it
have the
there.
thought.
I'm gonna.
And Eve took that thought from Adam, and,
Yeah, no.
Adam allowed it to happen.
Okay,
No.
so I'm gonna.
You feel me?
You're gonna stop it there. Is your respond,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna put an end to this
Okay.
conversation.
I understand. So to the fact of the matter is, Adam had to commit the sin first before he was confronted by God. He ate the apple. Everyone
did.
thinks that they were both kicked out for the same reason, which is not why they were both kicked out. When confronted by God for why he ate the apple, is when he did not hold himself accountable. But the part
There
is,
you go.
his
Exactly.
sin was right. But the point is, his
But God is
initial
forgiven.
sin.
If Adam, you
No,
can't be
no.
forgiven
Let
if
me
you don't
finish.
acknowledge.
Let me
Let her
finish.
finish.
Sorry,
Let me
sorry.
finish.
Go ahead.
The first sin that Adam committed was when he listened to her. She put herself above Adam and dictated what they would both be doing in their home. And that is wrong. And that is the problem with modern society today. Women
Okay.
have interjected themselves in a position that they were never supposed to be playing. But then you have men who decide, I'm going to take
Weak men.
advantage
Weak
of the
men.
women who want to take over and then be irresponsible. But it's women like me who say, men, play your position, take America back.
I agree with
Women
everything you
wrote
just
it,
said.
fix it.
Everything you
But
just
to
said is
do
correct.
that, you
Let me
need
finish,
to
let me
be
finish.
responsible. Your initial sin is to wall out and not exercise discipline with sex. Your problem is that you're
so that
walling out,
being said-
acting out violence.
I know we
Take
gotta- I know we
control
gotta-
of
we gotta pivot. We gotta
society,
pivot.
but
We
to
gotta- we gotta
do
leave.
that,
Yeah, so
you
we're
must
going.
take
We got to pivot. Can I just say
responsibility.
one thing?
No,
Go ahead.
we
She's
are
This is-
ending this conversation.
Women have to dictate what's
No.
happening.
So we're ending this conversation.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, so we have another comment from Anthony Fisher. What a great vocabulary. I'm speaking second about you, Asia, because I haven't said anything. You got another comment from Anthony Fisher. Thank you
Expeditiously,
so much for
nigga.
getting into the comments,
Expeditiously.
Anthony.
I got a
because-
comment.
Stop talking.
Expeditiously.
Stop talking. I'm going to kick you off. I'm just going to kick you off. And the viewers would absolutely love it if I kicked you off if I were Fresh and Fit. They'd
They
love it.
me.
No, they don't love you. They'd love for me to kick you off the way Fresh and Fit kicks off these tramps.
But
Okay.
Who's the tramp?
Watch Fresh and Fit. We got another
Okay.
comment from Anthony Fisher. Not just women, but simps like this guy. This was earlier in this back and forth. Another one, spot on, and convinced Adam to follow her, meaning follow Asia. And this would be the snake in the garden. Show some respect to Asia. Watch your mouth, dude. I say that all the time, Anthony. He doesn't listen to me.
I love
He
I love
he
this.
does say the P word, not like
pussy.
yeah, it's like when I say I don't like that word, he'll try and just say P word, not the actual word, because he knows I don't like the word. So he tries. That's because he's my brother. He's not yours. So you don't actually have to like this guy. I work with him. I absolutely love him. We disagree. And that's just how that goes. I can't wait to see your comment about how he's your brother. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you got he is our
Go ahead,
brother.
keep going. What's
Mine
next?
and my
I know,
twin
I actually have I have a story. I was in high school one time, and we have another brother, and this brother came up to me and asked me for something, and then said, "I'll meet you at the house." And my
it was towards him.
and my thank you,
I
my
know.
history teacher pulled me aside and said, "Asia, are you going home with that young man?" And I'm like, not together, but I'll see him at the house. And she's like, I think we should talk a little bit. I'm like, teach, that's my brother.
I remember that. That was
Earlier
hilarious.
on, he had
She was
been disrespectful to her. He had been disrespectful to her. That's why she was
No,
concerned
follow
that I'm
Eve.
going back.
Word indeed. Okay, so I do want to give an update. Where are you? Live results, election map, share. We're at 198. I think you did just cover this, but Kamala is moving up in the game, 112 to Trump's 198. I think the last time you covered it, it was 190 something to her.
It was
what,
190
something
to her one. It was 99, and now it's gone up to. Then it went up to 109 for her. He was stagnant at 198, and now she's at 112. Right now, I think they're counting the votes in Arizona and in New Mexico, because in Arizona and New Mexico, they were leaning towards
I know, I'm
Trump.
looking
So to
forward to
disrespect-
Arizona. Hang
so-
on. We got to go over the numbers
Yeah,
for the election, because
Go
that is
ahead,
why
go
we
ahead,
can't
go ahead,
get
go
into
ahead.
the
Do your thing, do your
man-woman
thing.
debates right
Do
now.
your
We
thing,
got
do your
to,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay, so
were.
we got another one.
I
Oh,
think
he's
the time
family. Okay.
So
To
there
piss
was a
off
little
both
bit-
parties. Trump's so dumb, I voted for a woman.
That's hilarious. It doesn't piss me off.
I
I
know.
don't think
So
women should be president, but that's just me. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if it were Tulsi Gabbard running for president against a Joe Biden. I'd vote for Tulsi.
Go ahead.
I'd vote for Tulsi.
I do
hands
see
down.
Biden was a great
Virginia
president.
looks like
No, he
it's
wasn't great.
yeah, Virginia looks
Go
like
ahead,
it's
Victor, go
leaning
ahead.
back
It was
toward
boring
Kamala
as fuck.
Harris. Stop talking.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Virginia is leaning back toward Kamala Harris. I don't think that's going to hold up, though. I do think that's going to go back to Donald Trump. Pennsylvania is holding steady in Trump's favor. Same with Minnesota and Wisconsin. Michigan looks like it is headed toward the blue. Arizona and New Mexico also is, I think they're counting those votes now in Arizona and in New Mexico. I think those polls might actually be closed now. It's not, if it's 9 o'clock here and they're like a few hours behind, then yeah. We'll see a little bit further how that goes, probably like another hour or so. We'll see if that stays consistent toward the blue with Arizona and New Mexico. But it was looking like New Mexico might actually go red. If New Mexico does go red, though, I do believe in 2020, they actually voted for Joe Biden. So that would be shocking if New Mexico swings and flips.
It would. We
red.
got something from NBC right now. It was saying we got for Virginia, it's 48.5 to 49.7, too close to call. But before they just showed the thing for Virginia, it said Trump 207 to
What?
her like 1 100 and change.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
swear.
just-
Like,
like,
he got
I wish I had
Nebraska
the
too
remote.
close, but
Okay,
he might get Nebraska.
So Minnesota 60.1 to Kamala's 38.4%. In Pennsylvania, 50.9% Donald Trump to her 48.1%. This is on
Wow.
NBC. Too close to call, they say. We have for Wisconsin 49.4 to her 48.9%. This is all coming off of NBC at the moment. And
Yeah.
of course, too close to call. Now, before all of this, it was showing what were the chances of the Electoral College. It was looking his 200 and change to her projected winner from West Virginia off of NBC, Donald Trump. Wisconsin,
Trump won
Michigan, too
West
close to
Virginia.
call.
Congratulations
But
to West
projected
Virginia.
winner for West Virginia is Donald Trump. Wisconsin, Trump is in 49.4 to her 48.9. So it's looking like he's going to win that one. This is NBC. Wisconsin, it says her 66.9 to her his 31.1%. I don't really believe that one because I'm looking at NBC News. Wisconsin, Michigan, too close to call. Donald Trump projected winner for Wyoming. I think I know what's about to go down.
Can I
AJ.
ask you a question?
I mean,
If Donald
I
Trump wins,
think
if Donald
we're
Trump
playing
wins,
the Reagan effect.
do we accept? Do y'all accept if Donald Trump wins? And if Kamala Harris wins, do we accept it as well? That's my question.
No, they cheat. We were looking at the numbers, but it's too close.
Oh
to
my
believe.
God! So
I
if
don't
Trump
believe-
loses, it's a cheat.
if Trump loses, before I say yes,
Well,
I gotta look at the
It's
numbers. I gotta
because
look
we're
at it.
watching
I'm
the data. So
every step,
when-
every
when you-
precaution. I'm calling every
because we're
flag, yellow flag,
Every
I'm
flag.
challenging.
But you have to
every
look at
flag.
God, you a
so
fucking
we're
soccer player and throwing red flags and yellow flags.
Work.
Okay.
So-
But before I go on
so
any
let
further,
me-
you
let
guys,
me-
1 second. I'm
let me
going. You guys
interject.
want to support the show? You guys can go ahead and you can support the show by cash apping me at hashtag #RShell Branch. You can support by following the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel so we can beat this algorithm. Share the video, like this video. Of course, when it's over, you can like it right now. You can share the link to get other people involved, to get other people involved in the conversation in the links. You can obviously support this gentleman right next to me by going to Comedy Pay, hashtag Comedy Pay. I will pull that up for you guys right now. If you guys are interested in cash apping and supporting Comedy
And
Pay,
I'm
by
smoking,
supporting
I'm
him,
smoking
you
an
support
amazing
the Kingdom
cigar
Cigar
right now.
Lounge. You support.
I'm
you support.
smoking a. What am I
Hey.
smoking?
We're not talking about cigars right now. Hang on. If you want to support him, you support.
I
you
just-
support the
I just
lounge,
want
and that's
to-
going to be a good thing. You can support by cash tagging Comedy Pay. You can obviously support the channel by hashtag #RShell Branch. Support the show by cash tagging me at hashtag #RShell Branch. If you guys are interested in getting your own theme music for your own podcast, if you are someone who's great with music, but you're not so great with the actual, well, you're great with lyrics, but not great with music, and you need your own music, definitely reach out to Matthew Torrance. He kicked butt for my show open. I loved it. He asked me what I liked. I told him what I liked. I like soft rock. He gave it to me. It was awesome sauce. If you like my show open, definitely reach out to Matthew Torrance at scoresandmusic.com. Again, you guys can support the show by cash apping me at hashtag #RShell Branch. You can follow me on Instagram at Archie Financial. You can follow me on Twitter at Archie_finance. Thank you all for watching, and let's go on with the conversation. Go ahead, Twinkster.
So I just wanted to say that as far as I'm kind of surprised that NBC is projecting 207 when even the Associated Press hasn't yet. But to the point of if Kamala Harris wins, are we going to believe it? When you watch all the data come in and you see that she's losing by this much, if she is declared the winner by tomorrow morning or a week from now, as they did in 2020, then you know that there was something off, that there was some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulation of the numbers and of the votes and of the ballots. Now, we don't have to go into conspiracies as it relates to switching votes in the systems and all that stuff. But there was some evidence to show that that the last election in 2020, that it was cheating. When you just look at the simple fact that a lot of states passed election laws out of the wrong branch of government, and by that notion alone, Joe Biden shouldn't have won, just on that metric. And so when you look at just the data and the numbers coming in real time, yeah, You're not going to convince me that Kamala Harris is going to win. There's just that there's not enough. The math ain't nothing. You can't convince me 2 + 2 is 5. You're not going to be able to pull that off. I just watched all the pennies come in, and you're not going to be able to convince me that the majority of them went toward her when I watched them come in for Trump all night long. And it's the same thing that happened in 2020 in real time, watching all the numbers come in, watching the data. You're looking at the early voting, how much increased, how many were requested, how many came back for early votes, how many people did come in on election day. You watch this in real time, and the whole night he was in the lead. For the next morning, oh, we don't know. And then 4 days later, on our mother's birthday, scratch that. It was 4 days. No, it was 5. November 5th. Our mother's birthday is on the 10th. 5 days later, they're declaring that Biden is the winner. There was some shenanigans. And so, no, I'm not going to believe that Kamala Harris won the election when all night long I watched the data come in. I watched the numbers. I looked at all the swing states to see what's the difference in early voting between Republican and Democrat. How did this and that change from last election? What is the difference between last time, right? So
if
I'm
Kamala
watching
Harris
in real
starts
time,
winning, I got you. If Kamala Harris starts winning and 4 days later Donald Trump wins, are you going to have that same energy? By the way, you could buy this stick at KingdomCigarLounge.com. Cheap plug, but let's go.
Here's the thing. So to answer the reason why your question, to quote, what's her name? Marissa Tomei from My Cousin Vinny. That's a bullshit question. You can't start your question with an unrealistic outcome and end it in a hypothetical. Kamala Harris at this rate cannot win.
You're saying she cannot win?
She can't.
Not at this rate. She can't win.
So
If
what
NBC
hold
continues
on,
to
hold on,
project
hold on.
Trump winning, let's look at the blue wall. Let's look at, I'm answering your question.
Right
To
now,
look
where's
at the
Trump
states for the
standing at
blue
right now?
wall. To look at the states for just the blue wall. The blue wall is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Trump takes home, if he takes Pennsylvania, her only way to victory is through Pennsylvania. He takes that, she's done. She's done.
So if she
Let's
takes
say she takes
Pennsylvania-
Pennsylvania, but he wins Michigan, Wisconsin, he wins Nevada and Arizona. Let's say he flips New Mexico
and Ohio.
wins. So he doesn't need Pennsylvania and Ohio. Yeah, but he's won Ohio already. So we've already got that in his numbers.
He won Ohio. He gets Pennsylvania.
If he wins every swing state with the exception of Pennsylvania and Minnesota, he wins. See, he doesn't need Pennsylvania. She does. If he takes Pennsylvania, she doesn't win. And the Associated Press is already showing that Pennsylvania, Arizona is leaning toward Trump. Same thing with North
now,
Carolina.
If he loses Pennsylvania if he loses Pennsylvania tonight, right?
He can still win.
It shows her winning. I'm sorry, say it again.
I do have an update, you guys. I got to say it fast while we're still here. Okay, so for Senate from NBC, 48 Republican, 38 for Democrat. Okay, go ahead.
That's for the Senate.
Senate.
If he wins Pennsylvania,
that's for Senate.
Yeah, if he wins Pennsylvania, right?
She doesn't win.
My biggest question is, if when you go to sleep tonight and Donald Trump loses, will you accept his loss?
No, because she can't win on this rate. If he loses Pennsylvania, he can still win because I'm watching all the swing states be in his favor.
What does she need to win?
She needs Pennsylvania.
She needs to win Pennsylvania and pretty much her entire blue wall and at least 2 of the other swing states.
Okay, so if she wins those things, if she wins the blue wall, as you call it,
she's not.
I'm saying, we don't know that yet because the votes are still in.
I do know that. See, I do know that.
What I'm saying is, what does it take for you to say Donald Trump lost?
After I had to have all the votes have come in constitutionally, legally. Now, because we have boots on the ground, thanks to Lara Trump as the head of the RNC, because Mitt Romney's niece was just not doing it. We had so much money going in to stop the steal. I donated money to that, and that broad did nothing. I feel like the Romneys pocketed that money, and this is one of the reasons why we do not like the establishment. It's why it took Tulsi Gabbard so long to say she was going to switch from independent to Republican. She did an interview with Kari Lake saying that she was happy being an independent because she didn't trust the Republicans any more than she trusted
Right now,
the
it's
damn Democrats.
50-50.
I'm speaking. And so that was kind of the idea there. We didn't trust that we were going to have the votes coming in because we don't like early voting as conservatives. I don't like early voting. It's election day. I'm a constitutionalist. I don't like early voting unless you're elderly and disabled or military. I don't like mail-in ballots unless you're military, disabled, or elderly.
So
And
you
so
should go on Tuesday.
yeah, pretty much. It's how it is. November 5th. It's been the case. It's on a Tuesday. It's how it is. It's just how it is. I'm not mad at the tradition. This is not one of the
It's a
traditions.
turkey. It's
No,
a
no, no.
turkey.
I'm speaking. This is not one of the traditions that we need to be liberated from. I don't care if the first Thanksgiving was oysters and not turkey. I will happily be, I'll be happy to make the turkey hands instead of oysters. I'm happy to vote on a Tuesday. I worked today and still made it to be able to vote today. Yeah, just like so many other people. If you have a,
Prior
extreme
engagement.
circumstance as to why you can't do it
Like you
on
got
the
children.
day, if you have an extreme circumstance for why you can't do it on the day, then we can make those exceptions available to you. Aside from that, it's election day, not month, not months, not week.
All right.
This is why Kari Lake lost the 2020 governorship or 2022. This is why Lee Zeldin lost to freaking Kathy Hochul. The longer the count goes on, the more I do not trust it. And it is as simple as that. The more time one has to cheat, the more likely they are to cheat. It is a math thing. It's probability. It's just math, people. It's math. Okay, we're not talking about 2 + 2. We're talking quadratic equations when we are dealing with the establishment. Okay, the only reason why Joe Biden was able to so-called win was because he was a moderate. So people believed. If a magician is going to convince an audience that a trick is real, they need to have a plausible diversion. The moderate Democrat is the diversion. They do not have that with Kamala Harris. It's exactly why Joe Biden told Obama he was stronger than Kamala Harris. Her choosing Tampon Tim over the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, did not help her. Having Megan Thee Stallion come out and twerk for her already pissed off more men.
She got a fat
Getting the
ass, though.
Taylor Swift endorsement pissed off more men. There's no way she's going to
Pissed
win.
off what men? What men was mad at Megan Thee Stallion?
Pennsylvania men, black men, black women were mad when she had Megan Thee Stallion. Women were pissed when she had Cardi B there just a few days ago.
Those niggas
The
was
woman
gay.
cannot speak. Oh, good. Come on.
No, they were
You're pissing
gay.
me off.
Any
yo,
man that like twerking is gay.
It's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. It's not. Okay, we get
All right.
upset as Black Americans when everybody else looks at us as thugs and hoes, but then when we have thugs and hoes show up to support the Democratic Party, well, why are we surprised?
Why
Okay,
she gotta be a hoe?
no, well, she's an old hoe. She doesn't
Megan Thee
present.
Stallion's not old.
No. Kamala Harris is the old hoe. To quote Judge Joe Brown,
I'm just
she's
saying-
an old hoe, but she presents herself
Damn, you
as
called her
a
old hoe?
as a lady. She presents herself as a lady, which is why I like her to the degree because she presents herself as a lady. The irony of Kamala Harris is that she presents herself as the very thing that she wasn't when she got all of her power.
So
She slept her way to the top,
damn,
and then
she slept away to the top.
Yes, she did.
Who
Yes,
she
she
fuck?
did. Willie Joe Brown.
And what did he do?
What do you mean? What did he do? He
Willie
was
Joe.
someone in power. She slept with him while he was married, and she got positions of power.
Shout out to
She
Willie
showed up
Joe.
to work for only 15 hours a week to make
Shout out to
almost
Willie
5
Joe Brown.
figures.
You
And
got
it's
that.
like,
You got
yo,
that Harris.
she's
He got that
a
Harris.
She's a career thought who made money.
Damn.
She targeted pro-life activists. She's
damn.
still targeting pro-life activists as the vice president, dictating to the DOJ to go after pro-life activists. We do not support this
Damn.
woman. She wants to have forced buyback of guns. So
Damn.
if you don't take this money, we're going to take your guns anyway and possibly
don't-
put you
don't-
behind
don't
bars.
like Kamala Harris.
No, I do not. I don't like her. Okay. You didn't get a chance to vote for Kamala Harris as the primary between her and Joe Biden. I got to vote
Damn.
for Trump. Between Trump, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis.
So,
I had
let me ask you a
mad
question.
people to pick from.
Let me ask
You
you a
did
question.
not.
If
She
Trump
was
wins-
selected,
if
not
Trump
elected,
wins-
and that's why she's not
Got
doing
you. If
so
Trump,
well.
if Trump
It is as
wins, if
simple
Trump wins,
as that.
Should
It's
Joe
as simple as
Biden,
that.
if Trump wins, can Joe Biden put that nigga in jail?
If
I mean,
Trump
technically,
wins,
he
you
still
said
is.
if Trump wins,
He still is a felon.
if Trump wins, can he put who behind bars?
Trump, because he got like
If
3
Trump
more months.
wins,
He got 2 more,
who is
3
he
more.
putting behind bars?
The felon,
Who's the felon?
Trump.
Wait.
Yeah, no. That's
If Biden,
that's-
if Trump wins, can Biden lock him up?
if Trump
Are we
wins,
gonna start a
can-
lock him up chant?
most people
Can
are.
I answer that?
People are.
Wait,
No,
I want-
I do want to get it on this
I'm just
conversation.
saying. I'm not
because I
saying.
haven't-
I'm not saying
No,
he
no,
should
no,
go
no,
to
no.
jail. I'm just saying that
No,
technically,
no.
he's
no,
only
no.
he's fighting for his life right
And
now.
Donald
But can
Trump,
I-
the projected
can
winner for
I
Arkansas.
answer-
Put that
Shout
out
out to Arkansas.
210 to her
Can I
170.
answer the-
Shout out to Arkansas.
Excuse me.
Can I-
Someone
awesome.
tell me, excuse me.
Awesome
210 to
sauce.
91. Sorry, the
Shout out-
screen is
shout
a
out
bit
to-
far.
shout out to
I had
Arkansas.
to get the numbers in
If
there.
Donald Trump wins the popular vote, he should be president, in my opinion.
So I
But
want
if
to
he
answer
doesn't-
your
if he
question.
doesn't, I don't
If
even give a
Trump
fuck.
wins,
Before we answer questions, let me show some of these comments. Okay,
Gotcha.
from Anthony Fisher. It should be a national holiday with paper ballots. One day. Thank you. Exception: military or out of the country ballots only.
Hey,
got another
Anthony,
one.
should we
1
just count that?
Me, I was insulted by Megan. Right. And it's a black male. Black man. So just know.
Okay, I'm
Anthony
black too.
Fisher. And not one vote. He was the mayor of San
Nigga,
Francisco.
your name is Anthony. How black?
okay,
is you?
so can I
His name is
now? I
Anthony.
want to
Shut up,
answer
Anthony
your
Fisher.
question.
Appreciate
If
that.
Trump,
Appreciate
if
your comment,
Trump
Anthony.
wins,
Just
gonna
these are just
answer your
jokes, bro.
question.
These
She's
are
gonna
just
answer-
jokes.
She's
Thanks,
going to
Anthony.
answer your question. Stop.
No, I was giving him a shout out. Thanks,
If-
thanks, Anthony,
yeah,
for that
if-
comment.
Thank you.
if you said if Donald Trump wins, will he be locking up Biden? There's two reasons why he won't and why he can't. There for the exact same reason why they can't
Biden
lock,
lock up Trump.
can't and won't. He can't because Trump would be the president. So if Trump wins, can Trump lock up
Elect.
Biden? That is the question. So the same reason why Kamala couldn't lock up Trump is because of the immunity that came out of the Supreme Court, is the exact same reason why, one of the reasons why Donald Trump couldn't touch Biden for any of the alleged crimes he's committed while he was the president. That's the first thing. Number two, as it relates to the documents he took when he was both a vice president and a senator, Department of Justice that was appointed by Biden, when interviewed him, said that he is too old and senile to stand trial, so he can't therefore be tried of a jury of his own peers. He's too old and senile. So on
He was
those
already
two
tried.
reasons,
He
is
was
why
found
Donald
guilty.
Trump, he can't. He was not found guilty.
I'm not talking about
DOJ
Biden.
said
I said
Donald
Hang
with
on.
Trump.
Let her
You got it-
speak.
you got
Let
it
her
backwards.
speak.
Yeah,
Let
the,
her
the,
speak.
the,
You answered the wrong question.
Let her
the
speak.
department. No, I'm not answering the wrong question. You asked
I
if
said,
Donald
will
Trump can
Biden
Donald,
lock
if
up
Donald Trump
Trump?
wins.
Her speak or
But
I'm
he
kicking you
can't.
off.
Damn.
The only way, like the fact is, your question is, can Donald Trump lock up Biden if he wins?
No, it's
That's
not.
the
Will
question.
Biden lock
The
up
answer
Trump?
to-
Is my question.
that question makes no sense, and it unfortunately it proves a point when it comes to Black Americans who are either unintelligent, or to Arshell's point when she quoted Reagan, it's not that you're ignorant or stupid, is that you know a lot of nothing. The fact is,
Damn.
Biden can't touch any president of the United States when he gets kicked out of the White House. He can't. He is too old and too
Right.
senile, number one. And number two, he has no authority in government to influence anyone to go after Donald Trump. On top of that, there is the immunity that came out of the Supreme Court. So you have to take those things into consideration. This is what happens when people say politics and policy doesn't matter, because you are not informed on what matters.
Okay.
That's where
So
I'm gonna
I
leave
do
it.
have some more comments by
Damn.
Anthony Fisher. And not one vote. That was the other one. Anthony Fisher again. No N-words, please. Ask your brother. What was Trump convicted of? Ask him. What was Trump convicted of? But before I go on with any more of the comments, I do want to say that NBC is showing that Trump is in the 50 percentile for Pennsylvania, where Kamala Harris is at the 48 percentile. So it's looking like they're saying too close to call, but Trump is obviously winning. Pennsylvania. I told you people,
Shout out.
Pennsylvania, swing
Shout out.
state. I knew it was
Shout out.
important. Every vote matters. It's looking really good. Okay, so we got another comment from Anthony Fisher. Yes, I am Black and I have a dual citizenship, Canadian and American.
Oh, he's from Canada.
Now, and he's got dual citizenship.
He's from Canada.
No N-words, please. What was Trump convicted convicted of? That is a question for you, Prince Adam. But before I let you answer that question, I want Asia to go on. Oh, wait. So 6 electoral votes. My computer's acting crazy. I don't know which state this is. So I'm not even going to
He's
read
from
it.
Canada.
But go
Shout
ahead.
out to Canada.
Asia, I'm going to let you finish your thought, and then I'm going to have him answer the question that Anthony had as well.
Shout out to Canada.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is to ask an asinine question like if Trump wins, can Biden arrest Trump? Like that question is either misspoke and now you're digging in your heels because I've corrected your question and then answered it thoroughly, or you're just digging your heels into nonsense. And that just proves the point of the problem with Black folk and liberals in general. Because you are either so caught up in TDS or you are just not informed. Your question, I just thought you misspoke and I corrected the question and then answered it. Biden, if that is the question you asked, if Donald Trump wins, can Biden arrest Trump? That question doesn't deserve an answer. It is by far asinine. And the fact of the matter is, if Trump were to win, he cannot touch Biden for 2 reasons. If there were crimes Biden committed, which I'm sure we all know that there have been, all the protections that he's done to protect Hunter Biden, there are crimes he's committed as the president of the United States that, yes, you could touch him on if the Supreme Court did not dish out the immunity deal. See, the thing is, people were so mad about immunity when the Supreme Court gave it to Donald Trump, not realizing how it just saved Biden. No one paid attention to the fact that this would protect Biden if he wasn't so damn senile. But the fact that he is old and senile just protects him from conviction from the crimes committed as the vice president and as a senator when he took the documents. And to answer Anthony's question, well, I'll if Prince Adam even wants to answer that question, I'll save that for him.
Yeah.
But we all know that it had nothing to do with documents, had nothing to do with the RICO charges in Georgia, and had everything to do with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah,
Just
I
gonna say
mean,
that.
I think that's part of the thing that I always get into when it comes to, why Trump, not Kamala. Like for starters, let's just be clear. As a Trump voter, I got to vote for Trump over like 8, maybe 10 other candidates. There was Nikki Haley, there was Ron DeSantis, there was Vivek Ramaswamy, there was Tim Scott, and there were 2 other people who were governors. We had so many people to vote for. Judge Judy came out and endorsed Nikki Haley. There were so many Republican candidates that we had the opportunity to vote from. But when you look at Kamala Harris, they did not primary Joe Biden. They knew they didn't think that he was going to be able to handle it. I think that this is why they allowed him to go forward in the debate with President Trump. And so as far as what were the convictions, when you look at every single one of these cases, they are falling apart, right? So you have the Supreme Court of New York that it's looking at the Attorney General of New York, like she's insane. The bond that she posted was almost $500 million, a bond that has never existed in American history, that didn't exist at all, which is why they had to tell her to lower the price. When you look at Georgia, that case is falling apart because first there's Fannie Pack Willis, and the guy that she was in a relationship with, he had correspondence with the White House.
Fannie Pack Willis?
I did call her Fannie Pack Willis. Yes, I did. I call her that. Some people have called her that. I'm calling her Fannie Pack Willis because her name is Fannie. I call her Fannie the way we call Pete Booty Judge, right? That's not his name, but we call him Booty Judge. There is no way, that he doesn't. I see something on my screen here, on my desktop screen, I should say more accurately. I can't see the entire thing. I think it's live now from Fox. Kari Lake is U.S. Senate, Arizona. Gallego is 53 to her 46% at the moment, but it is saying that overall, Trump is in the lead 6 out of 7 battleground states. I really want Kari to take this home because
is she winning or is she losing?
I think this is News Now. I believe this is what this is looking like. It says that she is down in a couple of the votes. I am concerned about Arizona, obviously, because when you look at the governor and her, Katie Hobbs is suspicious. Arizona is suspicious. I do want her to take home the Senate. Obviously, if she takes home the Senate, I think we have the lead that we're looking for. She wins. We're at the 1 senator above. But when I do look at the Associated Press, however, Let me just refresh this screen first before I do anything, before I start reading these numbers.
Yeah, when I
Okay.
look at the Associated Press, they're
So
telling me
Trump
we
is at
have
210 for electoral votes. Kamala is at 113. And Senate, it says 48 to 37. For the House, it's 144 to 94. For governors, it says 26 to 22. So for the governorships over conservatives over everybody else, it seems like we have the lead, not a large one, but a lead indeed. For the Senate and the House, we have a lead. For the House, it's 144 to 94. So we're 3 to their 2, 3 digits to their 2 digits. For the Senate, we're 48 to their 37. So I believe that's almost a 10 lead.
Yep,
10
the
people over theirs,
Republicans
and
just
for president,
gained-
10 over 13.
Yeah, it looks like both the Republicans and the Democrats just gained 1 in the House. So we're at 145 for Republicans in the House and 95 Democrats so far in the House. We, in order to get the
145.
majority, you need 218 to have the majority. And I do
Yeah, I
believe that
think
the Republicans
we are
can
gonna-
gain
I
that. I think right now we are at what? I think we need like another 80 something.
Yeah, I would
like
say this.
80,
I think we're
81 more
taking the
seats
House.
to take the majority.
We are definitely taking the White House. That's obvious to me. NBC is, they're not calling it, but they did show the Pennsylvania race, and they did say that Trump is at 50% for Pennsylvania, where Kamala Harris is at the 48 percentile. It's showing that when it comes to the Associated Press, that we are in the lead for every position, governorships, House of Representatives, the senators, and the president, of course. For the Senate, that one's going to be close, I think. And I think that one seat that we're looking for is Kari Lake. And they did just show on the Now News Network, I believe that's what it's called. Trump is up 50% on Pennsylvania, 51% on Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, he's up 50% to her 49%. Montana, he's up 56 to 42%. So the numbers are showing in Ohio, 51 to 46. That's for the Senate. For Ohio, we got for Wisconsin, U.S. Senate, Baldwin over, so Democrats. Yeah. So I would say looking at the Arizona's race, that is going to be the
What
biggest
has me
one
is that,
I think.
what Donald Trump,
Correspond
when I
to
look
any
at,
of
when I,
the.
Well, I mean, if you want to pay attention to the
When I-
numbers, the numbers you're looking at,
I know. I'm just
that's what it is.
when
I want to respond to one of the comments was what is he convicted of? He's convicted on 34 different counts.
You got to explain those counts, dude. Explain those counts.
I can just tell you right now. I know between fucking paying out a porn star and
It's not a crime.
And no, apparently it was.
No, that's what he
So
was convicted of. That's
That
So
was not
here's
a
the
crime.
reality. When you say 34 counts, right? He
34
wasn't
counts, he was
convicted
found
on
guilty
34
on.
counts.
Here's the
He
thing,
was
here's the thing.
indicted.
One
He wasn't found.
second,
No,
guys, one second. One second,
on.
both you guys. I have a comment from Anthony Fisher again. Only the DOJ can at Trump will, but he won't. But I thought Trump was in court for business dealings with the banking system, right?
To answer your question, Anthony.
Yes, Kari Lake was also the victim of some trickery. You guys are wonderful. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks,
you guys
Anthony.
are great. Now go ahead
Anthony,
and you can
understand
respond.
this. If Donald Trump did not become president, he's going to jail.
That wasn't.
That's just
What were the
I'm-
34 counts?
Listen, shit. I can't go over 34. They have Google for that. Look it up, and understand that he has 34 charges that he's been found guilty on. And I don't want to put no man in jail because I don't believe in that whole system. But end of the day, if Donald Trump doesn't become president, he's going to jail. That's just the fact. Now, if that
it's not.
turns into a civil war, then that means the whole foundation that we stand on is now at jeopardy. Because there are many
No,
people
it's
who are
not.
jail.
In
Now,
fact,
I'm gonna tell you what. Hold on.
Hang on.
There are a lot of people who are in jail right now, specifically black men who are in jail for crimes that are bullshit. I'm not saying that he's a criminal. I'm saying he was found guilty. If you're found guilty, according to our Constitution, which you're a constitutionalist.
No, not according to the Constitution.
Hold on.
Found guilty according
let me finish.
to
Let me finish.
the law,
Let me
not
finish.
the Constitution.
I got you. Let me finish.
The
Let me
law, not
finish.
the Constitution.
My point
That
is,
you can say.
what I'm saying is Donald Trump can pardon himself, which he'll be the first president to do that. He'll be the first president.
It's gonna be amazing.
He'll be the first president who was a felon to become president. Mind you,
No,
now,
you would be the first one.
mind you, here's what's crazy. I can have a felony and I can't drive Uber Eats,
But you can run for president.
but you could run for fucking president.
Do that then. Do that.
My whole thing is
Okay, I have
thing is
to.
there is a bias.
to
Mind you,
interject.
I'm not a billionaire white man.
You
So
don't got to be.
it'll be very hard to do if you're not a billionaire white man. But if you're a billionaire white man, what it's gonna the precedent that he is setting is if you're a rich white man in America, you could become
Oh
president
my gosh.
of America,
Oh my gosh.
even though you have the same
I'm
felonies
sorry. I'm
that
looking
a
at
black
these
man
numbers.
has and can't drive for
Okay,
Uber.
one second. I got to run these numbers. Wisconsin, Trump 49.8% to Harris 48.5%. Projected winner for Wisconsin is Trump. Was projected winner for Iowa is Donald Trump. For Senate, Republicans
Shout out to
48,
Iowa.
Senate 37. Okay, go ahead.
Shout out to Iowa.
Or
All I'm
Democrats,
saying
37,
is
30 Democrats.
that there's a bias that we have to recognize. The fact that there
Oh
is
my
I-
gosh.
if Obama was a felon, he would not be president at any point. Period. We gotta acknowledge the fact that a billionaire
I'm
white
going
man,
to
pretty much
interject.
a privileged white man, can do what he wants in this country, and this is proof of it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Asia, go ahead.
You know,
Oh, wait,
I
one
gotta,
second, one
I
second.
gotta
Wait,
say it.
1 second. If you guys want to support the show, you can go ahead and support by cash apping at #RShellBranch. We support I love the support. You guys can obviously go ahead and you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can share this video, like this video, just so we can beat this YouTube algorithm. I'm telling you, I'm over these damn disclaimers. I said one thing about climate change, and all of a sudden, disclaimers. I feel like they're messing with my YouTube channel.
If
So
you
let's
was-
go
if you-
ahead and let's beat these algorithms.
Shout
All I
out.
said was I'm not mad at an 80-degree weather on Halloween. I don't care if it's global warming or climate change. And next thing you know, I got flagged. So
Well, this is the
let's
good part. This is the good
boost,
part of global
let's
warming.
boost this channel by sharing this video, sharing everything we possibly have with this content
Let's
here.
enjoy global warming at this point, because in
My
100
goodness.
years they're gonna die.
I'm like, yo.
So I
Anthony,
have-
my
I
boy.
have-
But
I
go ahead,
have-
Brinks, go ahead. Support the show, you
Yeah,
guys.
I have to interject. I
Yeah.
swear every one of our ancestors who suffered slavery, I hope come back from the grave and slap every black person in this country
Damn.
who
All of
claimed to be a victim. All of them. Because any one of you who cry victim, I swear, we hear stories from our aunts and uncles how when they were younger and went and visited down south that they were chased by the KKK. They should slap every young black person who says I'm a victim. You don't know what hardship is until you were chased by the KKK. Shut up. If you are under the age of 60, shut the hell up. You have not suffered the way that they did. If you are a woman born a millennial or a Gen Xer, shut the hell up. You have not suffered the way that previous generations have. Enough with the victimization. Enough of it. No one gives a damn if Donald Trump started off as a millionaire and then turned $1 million into billions. No one buys this billionaire prejudice. There's a prejudice in this country. You want to talk about racist? You all voted for Joe Biden. He's the guy whose best friend was a racist from the KKK. He's the guy who pretty much co-signed the 1994 crime bill, who when Donald Trump won, pretty much passed policy to undo that. So if there were black people in prison now under Biden, blame yourselves. You all voted for it. And we told you that that would be the outcome. Just like we said we'd be on the brink of World War III. Just like we said that we would have more rise in crime. All of this bad that's happened, we said would happen. So don't go crying to me about racism and prejudice because of Donald Trump. Enough of that nonsense. It's hogwash. With that being said, I'm so sick and tired of black people in general sitting here talking about how he's a felon and, if he doesn't go to jail and if we have a civil war, that it breaks the foundation that we were built
He is
on.
the felon, though.
On the contrary, on the
Is he not a
contrary, it
felon?
does not do that. Let me finish. If a civil war were to break out, because they tried to lock Donald Trump up, it does not destroy the foundation that built this country. In fact, it makes it stronger. And I'll tell you why. When this country was created, the founders were felons of the King of England. They were not supposed to have independence. This was supposed to be Britannia, not America, not the United States of America. And they went to war with the biggest empire in the world of the time. So if the American people choose to go up against their government to protect their own liberties, then that will be the second time that the people in this country went up against the biggest empire in the world. That does not say that we destroyed the Constitution. We made it stronger. And another thing, Americans today are weak. We have not been strong in a long, long time. And that makes the cliche very true. Good times create weak people. And then the delusion that we've all allowed ourselves to live in, that the government has been protecting us, they've been doing everything they can to stop our liberties. We are not allowed to be as free as we want to be. Anything that shows free will, they want to snuff it out. This enemy that we are up against in our own government is as ancient as the kingdom and the monarchy of England, if not older than that. So stop saying to people that it will destroy the foundation if Americans decide that they want to go to war with their own government. It would show that the American public got the backbone that built the damn country in the first place. So we're not buying this victim mentality. We're not buying this nonsense that if we go to war, I'm not done yet. We're not buying this nonsense if we go to war with our government that we destroyed the Constitution. We're not buying that whatsoever. In fact, we would be the generation that the founders would be proud of, because that's why they gave us the Second Amendment. It wasn't to stop some criminal coming through the front door. It was to stop the government from impeding on our rights. That is the point of the Second Amendment. That right there.
All right.
They
Anthony Fisher said,
hang on a second.
Not the other way around.
1 second. 1 second. So we do have a comment from Anthony Fisher. I don't have Cash App, PayPal.
After what they did to the Hodge twins, Anthony, we did not do PayPal.
Yeah, I did not create a PayPal. That is something. Actually, I have not created it. I don't know if I could trust PayPal.
But you know what? Head over to Brazen Insights and subscribe there, and we'll count that as your support.
Indeed.
If you don't have a Cash App.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't. 1 second. It doesn't have to be dollars. You can support by sharing the video and by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Obviously, we want to make the bills over here. We want to make the dollars, obviously, but it doesn't have to be the dollar bills. You can support by subscribing to the channel, both mine, Archie Financial, or Shell Financial, and by supporting Brazen Insights as well. So thank you so much. I'm definitely going to get on that PayPal thing. So the next video that we post, I should have a PayPal ready to go. I'll create that probably around like 3 o'clock in the morning, because we're waiting to hear them say Trump is the
and Kingdom Cigar Lounge.
And Kingdom Cigar Lounge, because I am a partner here at the business. If you like cigars, Anthony, here's the thing. I'm America First all day. I am part of the Kingdom Cigar Lounge. Even if you're not supporting him, you can support me by becoming a member of the
This
Kingdom
is her
Cigar
lounge, so goddamn it, I'm
here more than he is, because he'd be on the road supplying.
This is her lounge. Let's keep it a buck.
Okay, but she does have an update. She does have an update.
This is your lounge.
Okay, I do have
an update. Give us an update.
Let's give you an update. I gotta respond to your shit you just said.
I do have an update here.
Yep. And
okay, we can. Okay, so as far as the presidency is concerned, Donald Trump is up to 214. He's at 214 electoral votes, and Kamala Harris is at 179. The Senate, we still have the majority at 48 to the Democrats. 39 in the House. It's 155 to their 105. We do need to try and make sure we maintain that majority, though, so that way they can't start impeachment crap that gets stopped at the Senate. But it is looking pretty good for Republicans in general. As far as the Senate race in Arizona, though, that one has me a little bit concerned, because we need Kari Lake there, so that way we have more.
I know. I'm telling you, I
think
Kari Lake
in the White House.
That one person. Okay, I'm gonna let him respond, and you and I can talk about.
Respond hopefully uninterrupted. God damn it.
Go ahead. I know.
So let's be clear.
No promises.
I know it's no promises, but listen, I didn't interrupt you the whole time you were speaking. So
do me a favor, look at the camera though.
So I would hope that you give me that same courtesy. Fair enough.
She's like,
Go
ahead, do your thing. Do your thing.
The point is, Donald Trump is a felon based on our law. He's a felon. He's been convicted on 34 counts, and he would be the first felon to become an American president. He's making fucking history right now if he does do it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying that if he does do it, it's just more proof that a billionaire, because let's be clear, this motherfucker is not special. He's a billionaire white man who became a billionaire because his father gave him everything he has in his fucking life. He had a silver spoon shoved up his ass, and he rode that fucking spoon to the presidency of the United States of America. And shout out to Obama, because if it wasn't for him fucking talking shit about him, he probably wouldn't have ran, because Obama is the cause of Trump being president, because he talked shit about him at the fucking convention.
BS.
Yeah, but my point is, Obama had to fucking hurdle shit, and Trump ran through it.
Obama had to push race relations.
Race relations is what race relations are real in America.
He had to push.
We're in a country where if you are a white man, you can be a felon and still become president. But if you're a black man, you can't fucking drive Uber. Period.
But you can run for president. So what is the issue?
No. The issue is this.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. So was Jesus. I love
so was
that
Jesus.
comment.
So was Hitler, nigga.
Anthony.
So was Hitler.
Jesus. Could we
and
not
so was
use
Hitler.
the N-word? I don't use that
Right,
on my
so
channel.
was the Hitler,
Let's
Negro.
try to watch our mouths.
So was the Hitler, Negro.
Stop using that word.
First of
not
nigga
Hitler.
means king.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And stop using that word.
That is
on my channel, we try to use better language. Profanity shows a lack of intelligence.
So
let's
Negro,
be
is
better.
that fine?
No. Let's not use.
All right, so I
those
can't
words.
call him a king. All right, so
no, you can't.
Let me tell you what, Kings. Jesus was nothing like Trump, and Trump was nothing like Jesus.
I'm not saying he was Jesus.
Jesus never grabbed nobody by the pussy.
I'm not saying he was Jesus.
Whether it was a groupie or not. Jesus never told black men who were innocent to I got you. Jesus never said nothing like.
Thank you, Anthony.
Never said to kill 5 young black men who were innocent, but he had no idea. Jesus didn't do these things.
I know.
Jesus said, those who didn't sin cast the first stone. He never said fucking lock her up.
Language.
Sorry, but Jesus never said lock her up.
Language.
He's nothing like Christ.
We didn't say that he was.
He said so was Jesus.
He's saying that Jesus was persecuted. We're not saying that Trump is.
He's not persecuted.
We are not. Yes, he is.
He's a rich billionaire.
That's not how he was persecuted.
I've never seen. Look, he went literally.
Okay, so do you want me to explain to you how Trump was persecuted? Why?
Explain to me how Trump is like Jesus.
I will say to you why he was like.
How he's like Jesus.
So he was persecuted by a government.
So was every black man I've ever met in my life.
That's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely.
So you think Trump? So you're saying Trump is like Jesus?
I'm saying that there are aspects in this particular case
that this
there are
billionaire
similarities.
Rich man who has nothing to worry about in his life is similar to a carpenter
in a particular act. Yes.
Listen,
in a particular circumstance.
I love every Trump
I can tell you how. Do you want to know? I can answer your question.
I would love to hear how Trump is like Jesus. I would love you to explain to me how the pussy, the P word grabber. I'm gonna say P word.
So you want her to explain. So let her, so she can explain to you the similarity
like Jesus
between.
Okay.
How,
so in a particular circumstance,
Jesus go.
Shut.
Stop talking.
No, I'm answering your question.
Answer my question.
So, in a particular circumstance, Trump is like Jesus, the way a lot of Americans in this case are a lot. There is a pastor, her name is Beverly. She's being persecuted, just like there was a pro-life activist who's being persecuted, like Jesus. Candace Owens is being persecuted. The actor Zachary Levi is being persecuted. When you stand by what is good and righteous, there will come a time in which you are persecuted just by stating his name, just by stating what is righteous. Zachary Levi is being persecuted. There's a good chance he will not be hired in Hollywood anymore because he says he will not support the wrong side. Jesus was persecuted because he had the nerve to stand up against an ungodly and unrighteous, disrespectful towards life and liberty government. The same way we are seeing with pro-life activists, the same way you were seeing with American citizens. Trump is not significant in this regard. The way Beverly, a Christian, is being persecuted, Trump is not special because he's the only one being persecuted. He
Okay.
is being persecuted and it's public, which is why you're saying it's somehow shocking that we think
Okay.
he's like Jesus.
So
Anyone
can I
who
ask you a
just no,
question?
I'm finishing the statement. Anyone who decides to stand by righteousness, anyone who decides to stand by what is good and holy is going to be persecuted. That is what happens in the end of times. That is
Okay.
what I believe as a Christian.
Okay.
That is what Beverly believes as a Christian. A Christian
So can I ask
person
you
who
a
is
question?
voting as who is a
was
pro-life
Jesus
individual.
willing to die for what he believed in?
Obviously, President Trump
Oh,
was being. I'm
Trump was
answering your
a draft
question.
dodger.
No.
He was
No.
a draft
You're
dodger.
talking about before I even
No,
cared
I'm
about the guy.
telling you, like, you
I
can't compare Trump
You're
to a
going
man who's
to
willing to die.
You're going to stop talking. You're going to stop talking so I can finish.
No, finish what you're
You're
saying.
gonna
But
stop
you can't compare
No,
Trump
no.
to Jesus.
You're going to stop talking.
You're
No.
comparing Trump to Jesus.
Jesus said
You're
that
comparing
we
Trump to
no.
Jesus.
Jesus said that we would be persecuted because we stood by what was right, righteous, and holy.
How many pussies
Trump-
did the P
Trump-
words? How many P words did
Trump,
Jesus grab?
Shut your mouth.
I'm asking you.
Shut your mouth.
I'm asking you.
Shut your mouth.
Is it
Stop
Trump-
talking.
Trump
grab the
said that he
pussies?
was going to stand by the people and not the establishment. And for this reason alone, he was going to be persecuted. After he was considered to be the loser, I say in air quotes, what happened? They raided his home, Mar-a-Lago. They went after him for crimes that Obama, if this is a crime, committed, that Bush committed, if this is a crime, that Bill Clinton committed, if this is a crime, removing documents, official documents. If that is a crime, Obama is guilty, Bush is guilty, Bush Sr. is guilty, Clinton is guilty, Reagan is guilty, LBJ is guilty, JFK is guilty. We're talking decades, okay? He is protected by the President's Act, which gives him the ability to remove those documents. You want to know who's not protected? Joe Biden. As the vice president, he took those documents, which he was not supposed to do. As a senator, he took those documents, which he was not supposed to do. And he did. Okay. So these are crimes according to the law, not the Constitution. Even though the President's Act said presidents are protected, Trump somehow isn't. It is not a crime to pay the mistress to not tell the wife. Now it is. Apparently, when you look at Fonnie freaking Willis of Georgia,
That's
who's
one of
saying,
34.
when you look at
That's
Fonnie
one of
Willis,
34.
yeah, Fonnie Willis, who
There's
says,
34
yeah, so
fucking
I'm coming to
felonies.
Georgia. I'm talking about Georgia now. So when you look at
Okay.
Georgia, he said, find those votes. I know there are votes. Guess what? They found the votes of over 100,000 votes that would have said Trump was the winner of Georgia, which could have swayed the election to Trump if they had actually counted those votes.
You were
We
talking about
have
how he's
video
like
footage.
Jesus. How's
We
he
have
like
video
Jesus? You
footage.
said you like
I
Jesus.
told you that Jesus
nigga said
said,
he was Jesus.
Jesus said, he didn't say that. He
He
said,
said so
no,
was Jesus.
so was Jesus being persecuted. Jesus was persecuted
Wow.
because of what his beliefs are, because of what he stood on.
Jesus was willing to
American
die for
citizens,
that.
yeah. And
Trump
here's
wouldn't
the
even
thing:
go to war
you're not
for it.
listening. You're not listening. You want to talk. You want to listen to be right.
No.
This is not about being right, dude. Okay, you can be right all you want. Being right is irrelevant if you are not being righteous. Okay? The law says Trump is wrong. The law said Jesus was wrong. Okay, the law said that the pastor Beverly was wrong for standing up for life. Okay, everybody else who had the same criminal activity
compared
got
Jesus to
less. No.
Christ.
It's not just I compare Jesus to Christ.
He did. You're defending.
No.
Jesus is
I am
Christ.
saying that God has made the decision.
Jesus
okay.
was God.
No. I am saying that God told us that we were going to be persecuted for standing up for what was right, not just right, but righteous. Okay. That is what the Lord said.
I love.
And
Trump
it's
for
not
this.
just President Trump that is being persecuted. Okay. You have pro-life activists who have been persecuted in this country for years. Okay. There is a pro-life activist who is being charged, a black pro-life activist, I might add, who is being put behind bars for a so-called crime that would have been given that would have been turned from a so-called violent
compare
crime to
Trump
a
to
misdemeanor.
Christ.
That would have been a misdemeanor and no jail time. She's getting 34 months in jail time because she stood up for life. You have pro-life activists being put behind bars for nothing. just because Kamala Harris decides they should be put behind bars. Okay.
Anthony Fisher said Clinton worse than use foul language. And what
Clinton did worse than use foul language in private. Yeah, he did. He did.
I did it in
How
public.
many
So
times
I'm like Clinton.
have this guy said the P word tonight? A lot.
A lot.
He said it a lot. He's not.
But I didn't grab no pussies that weren't
I'm-
voluntary. I didn't grab no pussies.
So did Trump. That's the point. We don't look to the president
I'm not
for
running for
our
president
moral
either.
guidance. That's what Jesus is for.
So
You're
I should
not
So I should
understanding.
run for president.
You could run for president if you're smart. I think you should take Pete Buttigieg's job, Pete, to be honest. I won't even lie. I think you should have Buttigieg's job. I think you would be way better at it because under Buttigieg,
Ain't niggas ain't
planes have
booty.
been
I can't
grounded,
fuck with it.
strikes
Pause.
have been going on, trucks are not getting all the business they should be getting, and illegals are getting the jobs. If
How many
you
times
had
have you
the
said
job,
the P word? The P word is
he knows what I mean.
What's the P word?
You know what it is, and we know what it is. He's just
All
being he's being a jerk, Anthony. You know.
No, I'm just saying the P
I
word.
deal with this my life.
The P
This is my
word
life.
to
This
me
is
is
my
like
life,
saying the
Anthony.
N word.
This is my life.
The N word means nigga. The P word
is
means
my life.
pussy. Come on, let's cut
This
it
is
out.
my life. No, we choose to self-censor because some words are just too
Trump
vulgar to
didn't censor
use.
when he said grab him by the
That's
pussy.
irrelevant because we didn't vote for him because of his language. We voted
just
for him
saying,
because of his policies.
Why are you holding me to a higher standard than your president?
Because you're my family and I can. You're my family.
Right.
I want to see the gates of heaven.
But you're voting for this nigga.
Because this is a business. That's why.
Oh, so you're voting for him
I
for the
care
business.
about your soul.
So can we be clear? I'm
You are
being
the
held at
soul.
a higher standard than the president of the United States.
Because you're the soul. You're the soul I care about. Not to say that I don't care about Trump's. It's not to say that I don't care about Trump's.
I'm just
This
saying.
is
I
you're
wasn't
my
a draft
brother.
dodger either.
This is
So I'm going
Wait,
to. I want to
I'm
enter.
simply saying that you are my brother. I care more about your soul than I do Trump's. I say that I don't care about
I
Trump's.
do.
I'm just more
Trump's
concerned
soul is
about your
going to hell.
soul. I doubt it, but
Nah,
I just
I
care
don't
more.
think it's going to
I don't care
hell.
what you think about
I'm
that.
not gonna
I
get
don't
Jim
care.
no
I don't
man.
care.
I
I
just.
hope you don't go to hell.
I don't
I
care.
want
There's a
to-
spot in heaven
I-
for Trump.
You have an update? You have an
There's a
update?
spot
Okay.
in heaven for Trump. Trump's going to
I
heaven.
don't
Let's
have
hope
an
he go to
update.
heaven.
Well, for Kamala
ahead.
Harris, she is up to 179, but it is looking like the blue wall may come down. So we're just waiting to see if these projected ones that NBC is talking about actually turn into actual victories for Donald Trump. But like I said, it is projected that Donald Trump is going to take down that blue wall like he did in 2016. Really,
Shout out
all
to
the
Kamala.
Democrats have to do is keep putting. All they got to do is keep putting up really bad candidates like they did with Hillary Clinton. And again, they were able to pull off some,
Yeah, he said I made him smile.
shenanigans
I
in
made-
2020. But
He's talking
no,
to
you
me.
didn't. You were. Oh,
said
because
I
I'm
made him
like, you were
smile.
full.
That's no
You
homo.
are-
Pause.
I think he's talking.
He's
about-
not talking about you. He's talking
Of
about me.
course,
because
nigga. We
you're-
don't make a man
you're-
smile.
You're spewing a lot of ignorance and nonsense, and your refusal to see
I'm not even against.
the
I'm not
similarities between what was depicted in scripture is outrageous and infuriating, and it's a perfect example of what conservatives for years, particularly for the last 10 years, if you've been a conservative, especially if you're a Carlton conservative like Arshel and I, this is what we've had to deal with. You have to put up with the ignorance of Black America who want to focus on the prejudice as opposed to focusing on the important issues. Politics and policy don't matter. None of this
No, I just
matters.
have a
When
problem
you
with
say about your values, I am
conflating Trump with
talking. I just
Jesus.
let you go on a rant. I am talking.
You
Your
cut me off.
refusal
Damn.
and not just yours. I did not
You
cut
about
you
to have a
off.
woman
I
president,
did
so we gotta deal
did
with it.
not cut you off. On the contrary, the person I cut off was Arshel, and she allowed me to interject. You were done
All right.
talking, or at least you took a sip where she would talk, and then I interjected. I let you both go on the rant, but I got fed up enough with it. So the fact of the matter is, this is just what we have to deal with as Carlton conservatives. This is what we have to deal with, the ignorance of Black America.
like
And
that.
honestly, the
Conservative.
closer you
Are you calling
are
me ignorant?
to the majority of boomers and majority of Gen Xers, they are what I like to call the victims of isms. And this is the problem with their thinking. And
I
the rest
appreciate
of
you
us,
calling me a
and the
boomer.
rest of
I
us,
appreciate you
I
calling me a
didn't say,
boomer
I
because I'm
said
not a
Gen
millennial.
Xers. and boomers.
No,
I
I
said
rather
Gen
be born
Xers.
in- I'm not a
I
millennial,
didn't say
even though 84.
I know you're not a
they say
millennial.
I'm,
Stop
they say I'm a
talking.
millennial.
I never said you were a
I said
millennial.
I
I said Gen
appreciate you
Xers and
for that.
boomers. I said Gen Xers and boomers
Anthony's an asshole. He
are
said,
what I
"Oh,
like
show
to
me
call
stop."
are they
No.
stop talking. They are what I like to call victims of isms. And the people and the us Carlton conservatives are the ones who are saying, yeah, we're just going to leave the rest of you Black Americans behind because we're fed up with it. We are Americans who happen to be Black, where the rest of you are
I mean, I'm black.
Blacks who happen to be American. You happen to be American. You're not an
No,
American who
not.
happens to be Black. And yes, you are. And the reason why I say that is because the first thought in your head is not I'm an
definitely
American.
black
It's
first.
I'm a
I'm
Black
definitely
man.
black first.
You're Black. Exactly. And that's your problem.
Definitely
See, the
black
most
first.
of us, at least I can admit for myself, I won't speak for our show. I say on my show and I say across all my social media, I identify as first and foremost a Christian supremacist American female conservative. That is who I am,
I
flat out.
identify as a
In
black man.
nowhere, in no way. See, and that's the problem. I love to quote Sidney Poitier from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. He said to his father, I see myself as a man and you see yourself as a colored man. To quote, that's what he said
I
to
didn't say
his
colored,
father.
black.
He said colored. I'm quoting Sidney
That's the
Poitier.
movie she's
I'm
talking
not
about.
saying that's the movie. He was talking to his father. They didn't say black, they said colored. This is the difference
Got
between
you.
Sidney Poitier and his father in that movie. And this is the difference between Arshelle, me, Anthony in the comment section, and you, and what looks like
Right.
the majority of Black America. We are Americans who happen to be Black. Oh, I got an update. It looks like Donald Trump is at 230 electoral votes. Kamala's down. Is still
This
at
nigga about to win the fucking
179.
presidency.
I'm like,
He is.
Yo, Donald Trump about to be the fucking president.
I'm like,
He's
yeah,
We're
sick.
about to have a felon as
do-
the president.
I do
Shout out
have
to the
to-
felon presidency.
I do have to get into the comments. Okay, so Anthony Fisher says our show made me smile. I'm so happy I made you smile. Thank you so much. I'm happy to make you smile. We
No,
are
nigga, I made
America
you
first out here.
smile. You.
I think you know what it is, Anthony. We're here. We're here. We're here. You got another one from Anthony. Abortion is
Hey, man,
worse than the P word.
Subscribe.
Definitely.
Subscribe to.
And from
Local Famous
Anthony,
channel, RG channel. Subscribe to the channel that you on. Subscribe to the channel and hit that RG Pay on her Cash App. Make sure you subscribe and
Hit
make
the
sure
bell.
we keep this shit going.
see, he does support the, because we're family, we're
I mean, he's
family. We
supportive,
disagree
but
like
you know,
crazy. We disagree. We
Reagan
support
wasn't wrong.
business. We disagree on policy. Reagan wasn't wrong. It's not that they're ignorant
Reagan
or
was a
stupid.
salute.
It's not that they're ignorant or stupid. It's that they know a lot about nothing. Okay. Anthony says, I am a Gen Xer. Got another one from Anthony. Well
Shout out
said,
to Gen
Asia,
X.
a beautiful American
Then
woman.
you,
Indeed.
I want to respond to Anthony's I am a
Keyword.
Gen Xer. So I will say this, Anthony.
I said,
You
Asia,
are a
beautiful American
unicorn.
woman.
Okay,
He
you
said you're
are a
beautiful American
unicorn.
woman.
I
said, what?
appreciate it, Anthony, but I do
I'm
want to respond to
American
the I am
woman.
a Gen Xer. You are a unicorn.
This nigga,
You are a
this nigga
unicorn.
Anthony's
Most
trying
Gen
to- trying to-
Xers
trying to-
that
trying to
are
do his
liberal,
job.
Go
most
on,
Gen
please.
Xers that are Black that I've met are like Adam here. They know a lot about nothing, and they refuse the refusal to accept conservative policies work better for them. And I love when they say, well, why we were better when we were segregated, we should just go back to being separate. No, that's when you were more godly. That's when you exercise discipline. That's when we were more intelligent. That's when we held ourselves accountable as a culture and a community. But what happened to our society? No, we all like to listen to Cardi B and DMX and Jay-Z and Diddy, and we don't listen to Ella Fitzgerald's anymore. We don't listen to Diane Carroll's anymore. So maybe you're right. Not every Gen Xer is caught up in that Borg monolith thinking. But good gosh, I know you must know that a lot of Gen Xers and boomers who are Black and look at themselves as Black are victims of isms, and they see
So-called Black
themselves as
man.
Black first.
The so-called
They
black
see
man. that
themselves
Black
as
man
Black.
said.
You see
So-called black
yourself
man.
as a Black man,
Not
not an
so-called.
American man.
The so-called
See
black man.
yourself as a Black person.
No,
We
no,
see
no, no,
Black man.
ourselves
no, no, no.
as
The
humans.
so-called black man.
You're a
I'm
Black
actually-
human. We're
I'm-
just human.
I'm more than that.
You're a Black human. We're just human.
Nah, I'm more than
Anthony,
How do
is
you
just
do
human.
you identify? Do you identify as a Black man, or do you identify as an American?
that. Neither.
How do
I'm
you
more.
identify?
How do you identify
How do you
yourself? What do
identify?
you say when you
So
check when you have
I'm
to check
more.
paperwork? What do you check? Black man, or do you check
Other.
More.
other and
I
write
check
something
more. I
in?
check.
More is not an option. What
No,
do you
more
check?
is the original black. Is the original
It's
man.
not when you check.
So you're black.
on
You
these
see,
things.
you see how you
You're
you see
being
how you
difficult,
change
dude.
the
You're being
goalposts.
I'm
difficult.
just
You're
telling you, I'm more than
Comment
deliberately
those.
from
you're
Anthony
del-
Fisher. Yes, 2:30. Word.
Check this out. Check this out.
Okay, do your
yeah.
thing, dude.
I'm like,
I
here's the
believe. I
reality. You are
believe that. I
changing your
believe that. I
statement.
believe.
You're changing your
I believe that.
statement.
No,
You're
no, I'm
changing
not
your
changing
statement.
anything. I'm answering your question.
You are. You
I
just said
believe
I'm a
that.
black man.
I
Now all of
believe
a
that.
sudden you're not a
No,
black
no,
man
no,
no
no.
more.
The so-called black man, as in myself and others, the so-called black man is a king. We are.
So you're not an American first. So you're not an American. That's
No.
all I'm hearing. You don't
That's all we're
identify as an
hearing.
American first.
No, no, no,
That's
no.
the
I
point.
We're
don't-
not
That's
American.
I'm
full stop.
American.
So you're not American.
American.
Full
because I
stop.
vote.
You don't
don't
identify as an
You
American
don't
first. Full stop.
identify. That's the thing.
Oh, you're saying do I identify as an American?
Which one do you identify
Like, what
as
are you
first? Like,
first?
when
What
I identify
first?
myself, people ask me, "Who
Nah,
am I?" I
don't-
say,
I say.
"No, I'm going to
I
give you
would
an
say black
example.
first.
I'm
I
going
would
to
say
give.
black
You'll say
first.
black first.
I
Okay.
would say
So
black
now,
first.
when I
That's the
identify
point that I'm making.
myself,
I would say black
I-
first, but I'm gonna tell you why. Can I tell
Okay.
you
Go
why?
ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because as a black American, I am the most oppressed, however, the most successful, because we strive to do better. We strive to do better. We have not lived off a life of privilege. I don't stand on the idea of hold on.
Okay, no, I'm saying you got one from Anthony
no, I don't-
Fisher.
I don't-
I understand. I agree. You're right. That's me. I'm a Black American Canadian.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Canada. Shout out to Canada. I'm a black man first because as a black man, and in terms of this conversation,
Mhm.
as a black man, I know that it has been harder for me to reach a pinnacle of success than it has been for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was given everything when he was born. He was given, he took out a loan from his father, not from a bank.
Right.
No.
What's wrong with that?
No.
Why is that a problem?
I believe in nepotism.
No, it's not
But
about
I believe,
nepotism.
no.
I would
Hold
rather-
on. Let me answer your question.
Mhm.
I believe in nepotism. I believe in black nepotism. I believe that right now we have success with families like the Waynes who show you that as a black man, you can succeed in this country. I don't think that we're at a disadvantage. I think that we have the most advantage because we're black and we're privileged. I think black men are privileged, and that's the reason why every nationality has been against us. You understand? I think that it is a privilege to be black. If you are a black man, you are honored.
See, for
You
me,
are privileged. You're privileged. You're honored, and you have to really understand that to be a black man in this country,
okay.
it comes with knowing that you have a responsibility.
You have another comment from Anthony Fisher. I'm the guy on the left. No, I'm a Black American Canadian man.
Yeah, you're a black American, but he's black first.
Okay, so this
He's
could
black
be
first.
this could be where the disconnect comes in, at least for me and possibly for Asia. I can't speak for her, but for me personally,
Black privilege and
I'm-
highly favored.
well, so here's the thing. I'm not just a black person. I'm a hybrid person. I'm half Hispanic, Panamanian, and half black.
You're black.
Okay, so my
Black is dominant.
no.
You're black.
So no. I look more like my I have my mother's smile, but I look a lot like my grandmother Lena, who is
Is it a privilege to
Panamanian.
be black?
I don't I
No.
don't say
You
that I'm
see the
privileged.
privilege?
I don't say that I'm privileged because I'm black. I'm privileged because I'm American. There are certain, and it's because my father and my grandmother on my dad's side obviously is from Panama. Our parents, our father and our grandmother on our dad's side are from Panama. When we went to Panama, we were about 20 years old, I believe, when we went to Panama. I saw young children playing soccer with no shoes on. I looked at their apartments
Right.
and they had no windows. They had sheets for like covers on their window.
They had
saw
sheets for
the
walls.
difference. They had, it was, I
So
saw,
you felt pride. to be an American.
I saw why my father and my grandmother came to the United States. I
Right,
saw
I
it.
got that.
And so,
I respect
and then
that.
because our mother, yours, mine, and Asia Brazen Insights, because I saw the differences between what it is to grow up in the United States versus what it is to grow up in Panama. I saw the difference.
So here's my
And
question.
so I don't feel privileged because
Here's my
I'm
question.
black.
Do you
I
realize
feel
that-
privileged
do you
because
realize
I'm
that your
American.
mother, do you realize that your mother, our mother,
Uh-huh.
had to work harder than
I understand that my parents, both my mother and my father, had to work hard to get
But
who was
me
you raised by?
where I was raised by both of them, both of them,
Well,
and my
who
stepfather.
was
Like
you
that's
raised
by?
the whole
Can I-
idea.
Who
So
raised you?
that's the idea that I'm saying here. So when people ask me to identify myself, I always identify as a Christian, America first, conservative geek. That tells you my mindset.
You didn't say black.
I didn't. I'm telling
You
you.
said Christian American
said-
conservative geek.
Yeah,
So here's my-
because
here's-
what matters is the content of my character, not the race, not my race, not my gender. Okay, these are the things. Because growing up, I was told
Okay.
race is irrelevant. I was
Okay.
told that
Do you think
gender
do you think
is
that,
irrelevant. What matters is who I am as an individual. And so, as a Christian, conservative,
you're
America
saying
first,
you don't judge people
conservative
by the
geek.
content of their skin, but the content of the character?
Right, because that's what it is.
Right.
It's not
Here-
about
here's-
your
here-
race. It's
I'm
about
gonna be
who
real.
you are as an
I'm gonna be real.
individual. So you can be a
I'm
white
not-
person
I'm not a
and full of
resident. I'm not a
shaka.
racist.
This is why
but
I'm no
definitely-
fan
I'm
of
definitely prejudiced.
Harvey Weinstein
I
or
prejudge
Jeffrey
people.
Epstein.
I prejudge.
So
people
can I get in on this?
Yeah, by all
constantly.
means. By all
So-
means.
Talk to me.
So I want to say that when people tell me when they try to say that our parents had to work harder, you have to take into consideration our parents' age. They are boomers. Our parents are pushing
Yeah, I
70
mean-
years old. And so no, I'm not talking, I'm not responding to you. I'm responding to Adam. So the fact of the matter is they grew up in a time where the
Prince Adam,
KKK
Prince
were
Adam,
still
Prince Adam.
very hot and running Prince Adam, excuse me. And they were running hot on the scene at the time. And so, like I said, we have aunts and uncles who were telling us stories how they were being chased by the KKK. They are pushing their 70s. So they can talk to me about being a victim of racism, considering they are from the time where the KKK reigned supreme. But today and in the 80s, you can't tell me that the KKK was your problem, that racism was your problem. No, fathers not being in the household were. You can't
But
tell
I've
me
traveled.
that today,
Have
specifically
you
today,
traveled-
that
I've
you
traveled
can't
this
you
great
can't
nation.
talk to me. You can't convince me that millennials and Gen Xers can say the same thing that our parents can. The KKK were their problem. It is not our problem of the Gen Xers. It is not the problem of the millennial race. No, entitlement and being privileged. You can't. That's the thing about young people in this country is that we were raised in such a privileged time in America that we complain about stuff that aren't real problems. So when we say the white man is why I can't be successful, every black person who was chased by the KKK, every woman who really had a serious problem as far as misogyny in the workplace, yeah, they can say something because they were in
I
the
heard
time where it was
Candace
reigned
Owens say
supreme.
something similar to
Today,
that.
I don't want to
When
hear
she
it.
was
I don't want to
talking about
hear
her
that.
grandfather, she said her grandfather would look back
He picked
at his past and say they had it worse than he did. And I'm gonna be real with you. Every generation had it worse than they did before because her grandfather could look
So
back.
why are we
and
still
say,
complaining
"Oh,
about
hold on,
racism being the
what
reason
I'm
why
saying- what
we
I'm
are not
saying is,
successful? No,
just
because you guys went on a
things are
rant, and so
better
I want
now-
to answer to my question.
Hold on,
I
just
want to
because
answer
things
to
are
my
better
question.
now-
No, because I let you guys have a conversation, so now I have a question. How if it got
Sure.
things got better with every generation, then how is it that today you can still complain about racism when it clearly isn't the reason why it's holding us back?
Is that a real question or is rhetorical?
No, it's a real question. I'm not being
So I'm gonna give you an
asking a
answer.
real
I'm gonna give you
question.
an answer. I'm gonna give you an answer. Racism in the past was worse than it is today. That's obvious. As a black man in America, things are better for me now than they were for my mother and her mother, and so on and so forth. But just because things are better doesn't mean that racism has ended. You understand? So
Did it stop you from
yeah.
being
So,
successful?
let
Is the question I asked.
me answer your question. Things are
So
better
answer it.
now. Things are better now than they were before, but they're
Did it
not
stop you?
as good
is
as
the
they
question.
could be. So the fight for equality hasn't ended just because. Hold on, I'm answering your question. The fight for equality hasn't ended. Things are better, but they're not equal. The reason why I say they're not equal is because, as I said, a felon can run for president, but he can't get a job at fucking Uber. Depending on your background. Hold on. I'm answering your question. Just because they're better doesn't mean the fight is over. You can continue. Candace Owens said that her grandfather had it better, that we have it better than her grandfather did. But her grandfather's grandfather would look at him like, nigga, shit is great for you. Negro, things are great for you.
So
Sorry, I'm trying. So my
I understand.
point is progression is a constant thing. We have to continue to stand on the neck of the people who have been standing on our neck.
So
no George Floyd.
Here's what I'm gonna
now,
say.
before I let you go
No,
on any
very
further,
much George Floyd. I'm just saying.
Oh, no,
Pun
you gave
intended.
the update. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Swingster. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You gave
Pun
that update
intended.
already.
Like,
So
understand that there's never a time where you can kneel on a man's neck.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
So I'm gonna let her.
There's
okay,
never that-
so
that- that's never okay.
I'm gonna let her respond. Go ahead.
So here's what I'm gonna say to
ahead, I'm
that
listening.
response. I've officially, I mean, I've said it multiple times on my channel, but I can reiterate it here. I am so done trying to convince Black people to let it go, because the only reason why most Black Americans think that the fight for equality isn't over is because of how you see yourself. I don't see myself as a colored person, or I don't look at myself through the perspective of race. I'm an American. I can literally go out there and get whatever job I want. I can do whatever I want as long as it's within the confines of the law. I mean, honestly, as far as equality goes, I would say more women have more rights than men. I mean, that is really the only situation we are in today in American society. On the basis of race, the only thing that hasn't changed is how Black America in its totality see itself in comparison with everyone else. You see yourself as a victim, where everyone else just sees themselves as a person living in America doing everyday things. And because of that, and it's not just you, it's literally with every Black person that's on that is liberal and doesn't want to acknowledge policy is important and don't want to consider conservative policies. It's not just with you. This is with every Black person that I've spoken to that is not a conservative. You are just a microcosm for the problem in the rest of Black America. You continue to see yourself less than the white man. And whether you want to say, I don't believe myself to be, that's how they see me. No, you're projecting. That's what it is. You are putting your own insecurity based on the history of Black Americans on them, but they are not responsible. If you fail, it's your fault. If you can't pay your bills, it's your fault. If you're not educated, it's your fault. If you can't take care of your children, it's your fault. The white man didn't come and burn your house down. They didn't string you up by no tree. They didn't burn your business down. They didn't bomb your city. They didn't do none of that in the last 30, 40 years. They didn't do that.
So can I go for everything? Because understand that it's only Black people. It's only Black people. It's only Black people that have to let things go.
So before I let any of you go on,
because we were the only ones that were victimized.
So before I let any of you guys go on, you have some more comments. Anthony Fisher, the N-word for the first time. I grew up in Europe until I was 16 years old. I was 27 years old when I heard the N-word for the first time, and it was from a black man in the South.
Do you realize that it's only black people who have to let things go in this country?
Well, yeah,
Like,
yes,
what
but
I mean,
that's
what I mean,
there's a
what I mean by
reason for
that is,
that.
what I mean by that, when you look at slavery,
But there's
they
a
say-
reason for that.
Hold on. Slavery, I'm quoting a comic right now, Michael Che. Slavery,
Yeah, but there's
that
a
was
reason for
400
that.
years ago.
Damn
Let it
right.
go. Oh, Jim Crow. Oh, that was 40 years ago. You got civil rights out of it. Let it go. Oh, police
Yes.
shooting. Oh, that was 2 weeks ago. Let it go. Oh,
It was
9/11.
justified in
Never,
most of the
9/11.
cases, so you
Never
can't even.
forget. Why is it that we
But
should
but
never
let
forget?
it go means to
No,
forgive it
the
and
whole
move
thing,
on.
the whole thing is why should we
Never
let
forget
go?
does not mean not
Never
forgive.
forget the problems that affect Americans.
But it doesn't
But the
say
things that
not to
affect Black
forgive. Never
Americans-
forget does
Hold on,
not.
hold on,
it
my love.
doesn't
I
mean
gotta let
not
you
to
gotta let me
forgive.
speak because we can dance
Are you
together.
are
we
you
can sing together,
implying
but we
not to
cannot
forgive
talk
it?
together.
Hang
Hold
on.
on.
Hang on. Let
Hold
me
on.
let
What
him
I'm
That's
go.
saying
funny
is,
coming from you.
what I'm saying is this.
I'm gonna let him rock. 1 second.
What I'm saying is this. Why is it that the anthem for 9/11 is never forget? We should never forget what happened
shouldn't.
on 9/11.
We
But
should-
we should let go what happened to Black Americans
100
or Black men
years ago. Yes.
years ago. So are you telling me
100
that in
years ago,
400 years we should let go of 9/11? Well, should we start forgetting about
Yes.
people who died in those towers?
No. Okay. So I'm okay.
My
So you're
whole thing
asking
is-
me a question. I'm going to.
hold
Okay.
on.
You just asked me a question, and I'm going to answer them.
It is a question. Let me finish my question.
So let me.
What I'm saying to you is this. Why is it that Black Americans are the only ones that should let things go
I will answer
and
you.
forgive and
So
forget? And anything
okay.
that
No.
pertains to
That's
Americans
not what I
or
said.
Jewish
That's not what I said.
Americans, 'cause understand-
Okay. So
check this
Arshel,
out,
let
check this out.
me on the screen.
Jews got.
I'm
Hold on, check this
I'm
out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this
coming.
out.
You gotta give me
You realize that
time.
America
I'm checking
paid the
other
Jewish
screens.
people for the Holocaust, even though we didn't cause it. The
Okay.
only person who didn't get
So-
reparations in this
Okay.
country,
All right.
the
So
Indian
let me
reparations-
answer your question.
Chinese reparations, but we get nothing.
Stop.
Just
Okay,
forget.
so both of you stop for a moment. Stop.
never forget.
Can I?
If
answer?
I have a person, because I have to explain this, if I have a person on a screen longer than one person thinks, it's because I'm either checking numbers for an election, going to the bathroom. It's one or the other. Okay. It's not
Under-
because I'm letting the other person go on
Okay,
longer than the
so-
other. We just need to know
All right.
that.
So I'm gonna.
First thing.
Okay.
It's
So
first
I'm
thing.
gonna answer his question, and I'm gonna
That's
sign off.
fine.
So here's
That's
the
fine.
reality.
I just need to make that clear.
All right. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, the reason why Black people need to let it go is because under the American umbrella, we are the only ones who've suffered the most under the American umbrella. That's
the
why
we?
Black
Who's
folk
the
have
we?
to be the
Who's the
ones
we?
to let it
Her
go.
finish.
I wanna
And
know
with
what you
that being
think.
said,
Let her
with
finish.
that being said, when someone says let it go, no one's implying to forget it. We're implying to forgive it and move on. That's what we're saying. So when we say never forget 9/11, we're saying don't forget what got us here, but to forgive what happened. Otherwise, we'll be running around here hating on Muslims for the rest of our days. Forgive what happened, but don't forget it. Same thing with Black people and all the bad crap that happened under the American umbrella. We need to forgive it in order to move on. You're never going to be able to let it go and to see yourself as an American who can do for self instead of putting the blame on white people. Stop blaming them. They are not the reason why you're failing as a culture. It's your fault. You're murdering your own babies. You're failing in education because you're choosing to. You're raising your children poorly. You're poorly educated yourself. You're putting out Black music that just totally distorts and disrupts Black nuclear families. It's your fault. It's not white people. It's you. Get your act together. But to do that, forgive the past, since it's the very thing that's holding you back from doing so. Black folk are the ones who have to do it because we were the first victims for a long time, century and change of prejudice and bad laws. It was us. People are going to say, oh, but the Native Americans, yeah, they were attacked long before America was America. So that's a whole other thing for them to deal with. But they're not the ones blaming white men for why they're failing. They're getting educated. They're sticking together. They're staying strong. They are family units. Why can't we do the same? Because we won't let it go. That is the problem with Black America. But that's going to be my sign off. I just want to say thank you, Rochelle, for letting me on this live. Thank you so much. Prince Adam, was good talking with
You're
you. This
leaving? I
debate
didn't
was-
expect you to be leaving so soon.
I mean, it's 3 hours. I'm ready to sign off. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. You guys check out Brazen Insights with
just
Asia.
be
That's
clear,
my YouTube
just be
channel.
clear. Thank you so
Head
much.
over to my social
Oh, hang
media,
on.
just becoming
Stop talking.
Brazen
Let it go.
USA, and head over to my Twitter, Asia Branch USA. Thanks again, Archie, for having me on. This was something. This was
Yeah,
something.
that was beautiful. Nelson
I-
Mandela said there's no reconciliation without, I'm paraphrasing, without
Okay, so
taking.
she's leaving. We do have a comment. We have someone, Michael. Well said. Pretty much.
Thank you.
That
Good night,
was,
everybody.
very good.
Thanks,
Good night.
man.
Well, we still got to hold. We don't know who's president yet. Where you going?
She's gonna find out.
Yeah, I
eventually.
will. I will find out. Thanks again for having me on. Good
All
night,
right.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much. Listen,
Jeez.
we here. We understand that. End of the day,
Oh my gosh.
we can agree to disagree, and what's better than that is actually agree to agree. We can agree that we're in a society that needs a common ground.
No, I think we had a point for why we were here tonight.
Yeah.
And we weren't on that. And that's pretty much all I can say about that. I'm going to be on for this until we have, I mean, I don't want to say a declared winner. We remember what happened in 2020. We kind of knew what was going to happen and it didn't happen, but I'm going to stay on this until it actually says what it is. Senate on NBC, 49 to 41, 49 Republicans to 41 Democrats. I do think this is going to come down to that
Donald
one.
Trump about to be fucking president.
seat.
This shit's crazy.
I do think it's going to come down to that one seat for Arizona, specifically for the House. It's 173. NBC says for Republicans to 140 for the Democrats. We shall see how that goes as we go forward on that one. Again, you guys, if you want to support the channel, you can support by subscribing and liking this video so we can do something about the algorithm, trying to help us beat the YouTube algorithm so that we can keep growing the channel, continue to talk about what's going on politically, financially. These are the things that actually matters. I didn't want Asia to leave because I did want to get into some actual questions about policies. I feel like policies are where we
She'll
really
come
need
back
to-
on later on. You got time.
I doubt it. She's not going to come back on. And I'm going to tell you why she's not going to come back on.
What's
I think
up?
we know what happened here. I mean, this isn't the first, not the first time it's happened on the show, but in like, you know, this kind of went awry, you know, because we were talking, let's say the things that we were talking about were kind of irrelevant, but more so the things that you were discussing weren't talking about the reasons why conservatives, America First conservatives, I don't think we spoke about the things that actually mattered. I mean, not entirely, not to the whole point. You know, we were so focused on the debate.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons why I think so many people are over the election, why they can't wait for it to be over.
Myself included.
Because, yeah, but that's the thing. We didn't speak about that. We didn't discuss that. We really wanted to focus on, well, at least what I wanted to focus on, which we didn't get a chance to focus on, were the policies, the reason why people are supporting President Trump, why
Right.
we don't like Kamala Harris. This is more than just her constant cackling. This goes beyond the you think Trump is a felon. This goes beyond George Floyd, who has become a deity for Black Americans. You know, if you see yourself as a Black American, okay,
Okay.
fine. I see myself as a Christian America First conservative. Okay,
We can
it
find a
shouldn't
middle
be.
ground.
Yeah, the middle ground is what policies are going to help. Opportunity zones. Did we talk about that? No.
Well,
What
every
policies are
conservative-
going to help and not help? The forced buyback of our Second Amendment right, the guns. Kamala wants to do that. Is that going to help us? No. Did we talk about that? No, we didn't. Why is it so important that we take back the Senate? Did we talk about that?
No,
we didn't.
You're
And
right.
you know, part of the reason why I think she left,
It's
she
because
said her
most- a lot-
point.
unfortunately,
No, it's
unfortunately,
for a lot of the reasons why black conservatives.
A lot of conservatives
No, black
in general
conservatives
aren't willing to
Nope,
have the conversation.
That's not it. That's not it at all. It's why black conservatives are done talking to other blacks. Democrats have the black vote. I'm done trying to convince black folk why they shouldn't stay on the Democrat
Don't
side.
convince them. You don't have to convince
That's
them.
the point.
Yeah.
I'm not here to try to tell you why you shouldn't vote for Democrats.
We got an update. Pennsylvania. Talk to what's
Dave
going on.
McCormick is in the lead, 49.8 to 47.7. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, of course, I voted for Dave McCormick. You know, the other guy, Casey's been in there for about 18 years, 20 years, almost 2 decades. That guy's been in there.
Yeah.
For Wisconsin, 49.6, Republican to 48.3 for the Democrats. We have for Michigan, 49.7 to 47.5%. For the Democrat, 47.5 to the Republican, 49.7%. Yeah, I mean, that's for the Senate. It's seeming like that the conservatives are going to take the Senate seat.
Shout out
if
to
anything, we
conservatives.
might win by the one seat. Because I mean, even though it shows that the Republicans are doing well, I do think it's going to come down to the one seat. But that's what I'm saying as it relates to why I think she stopped being on the live. She's done debating Democrat Black Americans. She's done. And I
get that.
I
But
give you,
I
I have those conversations
I appreciate
with
the
you.
platform. I appreciate the ability to talk and give a different view, because end of the day,
Good.
we're not going to agree on all things.
It's
You know
not
what I
about
mean?
agreeing.
No,
it's,
what I mean
it's
is-
more
what I mean
so
is-
about like if we agree or disagree on the things that matter. She doesn't want to debate why Central Park 5 or
I got you.
or George
I got you.
Floyd.
I got you.
You know,
Well,
Trump
those
is
things- those things,
a felon.
those things matter because that's the person who is may be elected president. You know what I mean? So
Chauvin is not going to be elected president.
No, but
Chauvin's not gonna be
if our
elected
president supports locking up black men or murdering black men, we should understand that, you know, he put on an ad to do that. We should speak on that. We don't have to just absolve him of all the bullshit, because no president is perfect. I can admit that Kamala Harris is not my first pick. I have never heard any Trump supporter say that.
Based
Hold
off
on.
of a damn.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that Trump? What don't you like about Donald Trump? Let's talk about that. What don't you like about Trump?
I already told you about the COVID situation.
No, I'm talking about now. Let's tell them. What don't you like about Donald Trump?
I already said what I don't like. I don't like that he wasn't strong on COVID. I said that many times. Wait a second. We have a comment from Anthony Fisher. Your brother is brainwashed. Trump 2024. I mean,
Shout out to Anthony Fisher.
We're at the point. I mean,
I don't disagree with. Here's my thing. I'm not brainwashed to think that Kamala Harris is the savior of America. To be honest,
so why
I would rather. I told you I flipped the coin.
That right.
I literally flipped the coin, and she won the coin flip.
But that's the point. And
But
this is what we're talking about.
I didn't think Donald Trump was the best pick either. I literally had a coin in my pocket.
Out of the three candidates,
I flipped it, and he won, and she won.
Out of the three candidates, the top three candidates.
No, I went 50.
And when you flip a coin, you only have two sides. So
I went 50-50. I don't even know the third one is.
I told you the third one was.
Yeah, I ain't fuck with him.
Her name is Jill Stein.
Yeah, it's either going to be Harris or Trump.
You could have voted for Jill Stein.
Yeah, but that's a waste of a vote.
But why?
Because it's a waste of a vote.
Why was it a waste
Because she's
of a vote?
not going to win.
Why does that matter?
because I'm in Pennsylvania. And
But
my
if
vote-
it
my vote
doesn't
counts.
matter who you vote for, why not vote for
'Cause-
someone
'cause
who
a-
actually
'cause a
have
coin
something
only
in
has-
common
a
with?
coin only has two sides.
Yeah, but if it doesn't matter who you vote for,
No, I didn't say it didn't matter. I said I
but
felt
it,
the same
it
about both. of them.
clearly doesn't because you flipped on a coin.
No. Here's what I'm saying. I felt the same about both candidates. My interest in both of them.
There's more than two candidates.
I had my interest in both of them was 50-50. I really thought that Trump is beneficial to my business. But Kamala Harris is beneficial to those who don't own a business, like myself.
I'm going.
So if you're somebody, if you're thinking about, if as a humanitarian, which I would like to be someday, or think myself as, I'm thinking about other people. If you vote for Trump, you either are one or two things. You're either selfish or you're racist.
So I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll come back after we have a
Which
winner.
one are you? Selfish is not a bad thing. You voted in your self-interest.
I'm going to wrap this up, and we're going to come back in about, it's almost 12 o'clock now. So we'll come back around 2 o'clock. We'll come back if we have a winner at, sooner rather than, if we have a winner at before 2 o'clock, I'll come back on because I got to get this tech together and we're just going to go from there. So I'm going to give you your opportunity to close this up. We do have a
shout
comment.
out to Trump and Harris. Good
Anthony
luck to both of
Fisher.
y'all.
You do know she is a direct descendant of slave owners. I know that. I don't know if he does.
Who's the
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, that makes sense. So is Trump.
No, actually, he's the only president in the 21st century who is not a direct descendant of slaves or
he's
slave
not-
owners.
he's not-
Excuse me.
So Kamala Harris is a descendant of slave owners?
Yes, she is.
Oh, shout out to her slave owners.
Right. So we
I-
will
I
support.
I don't support
So
them.
we're
I'm
going to be
just-
mad about slavery, but we want to vote for the woman who is a direct descendant.
I mean,
of
so was
slave
Thomas
owners.
Jefferson. So was all the
We're not
founders.
talking about the founders. We're talking about the woman
Shout
you
out to the
flipped the coin
founders.
to vote for.
So
Donald Trump is the
Kamala
only
Harris
president
was
in the
a
21st
descendant of
century
the-
who is not a descendant of slave owners.
Got you. So Kamala Harris has a lot in common with the founders.
She
and
has.
Donald
She is
Trump
a
does
descendant
not.
and has made money.
She's a-
Her family
she's a
still makes
conservative.
money off of those plantations.
The-
Still makes money off those plantations.
Just to be clear, those same people, the founders were Democrats.
Still makes money off of the plantations.
I
I didn't
got
get
you.
to vote for George Washington. You did vote for Kamala Harris.
I definitely
off of the
did.
coin toss. So
Yeah, I definitely did. She won the coin
you
toss.
voted for a descendant of slave owners who still
Listen,
makes money
tails
off of the
sometimes
plantations.
wins. That's how football
You
works.
you voted for a woman who makes money off of the same land that slaves worked.
Yeah, but she probably not gonna win.
Why does that matter? We're talking about your vote.
My vote counts only if Pennsylvania. If she wins Pennsylvania,
She won't.
well then if it doesn't, then it doesn't matter.
She won't.
If it doesn't matter, then
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Let's close this up. Close it
All
up.
right.
You give your closing.
KingdomCigarLounge.com. Can I drop my
Yep, by all means.
Listen.
I'm gonna pull it up now.
KingdomCigarLounge.com. Please support. If you buy cigars, go to KingdomCigarLounge.com. That website was literally built by Asia Brand. She put the whole thing together. Arshel is the producer of everything that we do here. So I want you to know Archie and Asia, they are my backbone. Even though we don't agree on a lot of shit, they are literally the backbone to everything we do here. So please support business, American business, Black business, however you want to see it. KCL Logistics, KingdomCigarLounge.com. We are in Tobian, Pennsylvania. We're new, we're building, and we're here for you. If you smoke, come see us. And we're on Instagram and all the other shit. I'm working on we got Instagram. I'm working on the rest of my social media, but we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and yeah, KingdomCigarLounge.com.
Awesome sauce. Okay, you guys. So
Thank you, Asia. Thank you,
I-
thank you for the platform. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
taking
of
another
course.
voice.
I don't want to be criticized for being a monolith. I don't want to be, accused of not hearing the other side or people who don't think that there's anything
definitely
to
did.
this. I do want to give an update for the U.S. Senate Pennsylvania race. McCormick 49.6 to Bob Casey's 47.9%. It is seeming that Trump is ahead. He's the projected winner for Tennessee and for Pennsylvania. seeming like we got this in the bag.
Can I put the hat on? Can I put
We
the hat on?
are-
Can I put the hat on?
I'm not taking my hat off. We don't do that as females. Yeah, I'm just not doing that. So it seems like conservatives got this in the bag. That's just what it seems like. So I will be
Go
coming
Trump.
back to talk about who
Good.
won, why they won. Hopefully I can have another conversation with Asia. I will be doing that, but just between the two of us. It was nice to have a conversation with the three of us, but y'all were here, you watched, you saw what happened.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great conversation.
I mean, it was okay conversation, but we didn't get into the policies. And so that is, I think, is a bit disappointment. That could be on my part for not being a better moderator.
Nah, you did great. You
We
did
shall see.
great.
That was the first time I actually moderated a conversation between two people of different sides. You guys get in the comments and let me know how you think I handled it, how
I
you
think
think
she
I
handled
can,
it pretty great. You
how
was a
you
great
think
moderator on that.
I can improve on being a moderator if I do decide to host a conversation between two different mindsets on certain policies.
Well, you probably
Um,
have to get somebody who's more liberal.
No,
Because
it's not so
I-
much about being more liberal. This is about making sure that I can let the other person speak.
You did
And
great
if
with that.
for starters, next time I'm just going to make sure it happens during the day. We're not drinking beer like this is a party because, beer makes you go to the bathroom. And so I had to go to the bathroom. I had to check numbers because it's an election. The next time I
Yo,
try
throw
to
a
have,
fire up if you
the-
think she did an amazing job
you guys
moderating.
just go ahead and get
She
to
did
the,
an amazing job moderating.
Thank
Listen,
you. Thank you.
I'm just a guy who. The
I hear
problem is,
So-
I'm not sitting on the fence.
So
I just don't care enough to really pick a
we have
side.
another update. Georgia Trump is up to 81% to Harris
Shout out to
18.7%.
Donald Trump.
Wisconsin,
wins,
Trump
I'ma be
over
happy for
Kamala
you.
Harris for Senate.
It's gonna be hilarious. I'm a
49 to
comic.
41. So as I
She-
said,
it's like look, having me on the
Oh,
show right now
polls
is
are
like having
closing.
a comedian.
Stop talking.
Sorry, go ahead.
Election alert. Polls are closing in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 in Hawaii. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who do we have for Hawaii by NBC? I can't see the Fox television, you guys. You're going to have to forgive me. This is NBC. NBC news projection for Hawaii. I'm going to assume it's Kamala. And it is Kamala Harris for Hawaii. What does that mean for the electoral votes? 209 to his 230. I'm going to refresh. Well, NBC says 189 to his 230. It's like, yo,
Damn, this
she's
nigga Trump might win.
NBC says she's losing by a lot. The damn
She's losing.
Associate Press is saying that she's got way more compared to NBC. I'm kind of surprised at that. For Senate seats, 50 Republicans to 41 Democrats. I don't know why. And now they're not letting me see the actual race itself. Like, I'm kind of surprised at that. Like, why won't you let me see these numbers? This is like, why won't you let me see it? President 230 to 209. NBC says it's far less. For Nevada, 73% for Trump, 26.2% for Kamala Harris. Minnesota, 52.5 for Kamala, 45.4 for Trump. They're not letting me see on the Associated Press what's going on. Like, why won't you load? It just doesn't want to load. For Senate, 50 to 42 for the House, 175 for the Conservatives to 132 on the Democrat side, 230 electoral votes to 209 for the president. They are not pulling up the governor's race. And you guys know what I think. The longer it takes to count these votes,
I think
the
Trump
more
might
I
win
do
the
not
election tonight.
trust this. Okay, so I'm going to close this up, you guys, because, we're going to come back. I'm going to come back by myself to talk to you guys about why I think who won. And we're going to go from there. We have a comment from Michael Samara. Forgive me if I do not pronounce the names
You threw that
correctly.
fire up.
W
He said that means you did
Brother.
a good job as a moderator, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's what that
I
means.
appreciate that.
You
You
did
know,
a great
I
job
wanted
as
to give
moderator.
I wanted to give everybody enough time to say their piece, to stop.
Yeah, it was kind of like having
Um,
a roast comic on Madison Square Garden.
I wanted to give people. Oh wait, we got one for Pennsylvania from
Throw another fire up.
NBC,
Throw another fire up for our show if she did a
49.6%,
great job. Throw that
49.6%.
fire up.
Trump
Throw them
is still
fires up.
according to NBC. Okay, so here's the thing. To close this up, I'm gonna just end it here.
Why are you
and
ending it, baby?
be-
We out here.
I'm gonna end it now. I'm gonna come back after we have a declared winner. And
Fire. They got more fires coming your way. I tell you what, If you
No,
want
this
to
is
end
the
it now,
same
if
comment.
you want to end
This
it
is the same
now,
comment. I'm going to end it now. I'm going to finish.
keep them fires up. If you
I'm
wanted to
going
keep going,
to finish the statement.
hit her cash app
I'm going
and tell her to keep going. Tell her to keep going because she's doing great.
So
Fires up and cash app. What's the cash app?
this is what I'm saying, dude. You got to stop.
Cash app.
You got to stop. So this is what I'm
Archie.
saying. I'm going to close this. We'll be back after we have a declared winner. I'm going to be here for a minute, you guys. We have a comment from Foundational. Go Trump. You already know. America first. So I'm looking forward to that.
More
Okay,
fires.
you guys.
You got more fires. They're saying you to
no,
keep going.
It's not more. It's the same one. Dude, I'll teach you how to use this. I'll teach you. Okay.
Okay.
You guys already know how this night's going to go. I think we're going to take home the White House. I think we're going to take home the Congress. It's the Senate that I'm concerned about, specifically as it relates to Kari Lake's race. I would have liked to to get further into policy conversation. When I come back, I will get into why policy matters, regardless of who the winner is. Obviously, you know who I want the winner to be. Obviously, you know who I think the winner is going to be. Tomorrow's today, actually, later today. It's 12 o'clock already.
Damn.
I think that we're going to have a really good day as America First conservatives. I think as Christian pro-life supporters, I think we're going to have a really good day if you're the pro-life movement. Policies are looking good on a Federalist Society standpoint. I think we have a really good take on where we're headed if this goes the way that I think this is going to go. So if you guys want to support the channel, support the show, you can go ahead and you can cash app me at #RShell Branch. Just pull that up for you guys so you already know. You can cash app the show at #RShell Branch. The link to the cash app is going to be in the YouTube description at the top of the page. Just head over there and you can just click that link. It takes you straight to the cash app and you can support the show that way. You can also support the show by subscribing to the channel. You can also share this video, like this video if you haven't already, just so we can do something about the YouTube algorithm. So for my guest that is here right now, that is Prince Adam. You can cash app him if you like the things that he was saying. You want to support his business, support the Kingdom Cigar Lounge as well. You can cash app him at #ComedyPay. You can obviously support the channel for Kingdom Cigar Lounge by heading over to the KingdomCigarLounge.com website, becoming a member. You can head over to the Instagram of the Kingdom Cigar Lounge, and you can obviously follow that channel, get into the comment sections, tell us what cigars you like so that we can make something happen. I will be coming back later today so that we can talk about what just went down, what's going to go down, I should say more accurately, about this election. So we shall see. Looking forward to it. God bless. Have a good night. Good morning, I should say. I will be back. Definitely come back if you guys would like in the comment sections, and I look forward to that. God bless. Have a good day, and Kepler.
You're fucking amazing. You're really good at this.